Hey, long time no see, no talk. Been really fucking busy. It's been fucking crazy. Been trying to get some content done, but it's just been too chaotic. Nothing super bad, just work, life, music. Trying to get this fourth Ruin album out, and behind the scenes, just been trying to hammer away at that. But it's just been really, really fucking busy. But here we go. This is a monstrous, epic, mega episode of death metal from Norway. Look at all this. Look at all that. I want them to fucking spill out. Some of these off the top. Anyways, you get the idea. It's filled to the rim with fucking, I didn't realize how many goddamn Norwegian death metal demos that I had from back in the day. But, between writing, connecting with like the main characters of the Norwegian death metal scene that I'm going to be talking about, working at Wild Rags, getting, Richard had a good relationship with a lot of the key people up in Norway. And I was lucky to work there. So got connected with a lot of these demos through Wild Rags, doing Extinction of God fanzine, and having bands send demos into us for review to be part of the compilations, because we were massive tape traders at the EOG camp. So yeah, we were constantly getting new stuff all the time. So I got extremely lucky to be able to get the amount of demos from back in the day. And obviously, as you know, if you're a fan of this channel and of underground metal in general, you know that 90% of these people and these Norwegian death metal bands went on to black metal legendary success. So most of the old death metal bands broke up, ended, and they those musicians and those people shifted to black metal for the most part. And I'll get into that whole transition and maybe why and all that kind of stuff. People have their opinions on it, this and that, being that I was actually there as it was happening and all the craziness with the church burnings and the murders and all that kind of stuff. It was a trip. And knowing some of these cats that were that were over there, we have my perspective on it, my history. And basically, I'm just going to get into how I discovered death metal from Norway. It was actually like the first international country in Europe that I started writing to, I believe. And I'll get into that. At least one of the first. I know that, Sweden and England are up there at some point, but Norway was definitely, there was stuff going on in Norway a little bit prior to when the English stuff exploded, and then obviously the Swedish explosion was just massive once Entomb blew up. But yeah, we'll get into all that. We will obviously focus on Norway death metal, and I wanted to call it Norway death metal for the most part, just because it's the black metal scene is known as Norwegian black metal, so I want to try to set it apart. So it's Norwegian death metal for sure, but the Norwegian black metal, that term is well known for that explosion, and I want to focus a little bit different stuff, obviously, on the death metal stuff. So that's why I'm calling it Norway death metal. But anyways, enough yapping. Let's get going, because this is going to be a monster show, and I don't want to be here for 4 or 5 fucking hours and bore you guys to death. So let's fucking go. All right, so going back in time here, bear with me, because I'm going to try to remember everything that I can. A lot of it's a blur, but a lot of it's some great memories. Obviously, it was my introduction to the European underground. Like I said, I think probably around the same time, Norway, Sweden, and England started writing to bands over there. I mean, there was bands all over Europe, obviously, but the Norwegian scene kind of started getting kicked off. My introduction to Norway was Slayer Mag, and here's the Battalion book. Amazing. One of the best books ever made. The Slayer Mag Diaries. And it's just basically John talking about his introduction into the heavy metal underground, and made that natural progression from heavy metal to speed metal to thrash to death and grind, and then black metal later. Obviously, there was that big explosion in Norway. Everybody already knows about that. But, he was covering a lot of the early death metal bands. So really cool. Here's an old logo. One of the old logos. I think that was one of the first logos that I saw about it. And I was like, Slayer. You start seeing that around, and it ends up piquing your interest, when you're a young kid. You name your magazine after one of the greatest bands ever, especially at that time. Slayer was in their prime, and, John, that was his favorite band at the time, and he wanted to name the magazine after his favorite band. So really cool. And if you don't have this book, I'm sure it's still available. It's really cool. He just basically talks about his life involving the metal underground and the evolution of the music, and he talks about the magazine. And then obviously he started running Had Not Found Records, started putting out music. It just talks about all that stuff. Some classic interviews in the old Slayer mag. I actually I didn't write to John back in the day. I actually became friends with him on Facebook years later. like in the 2008, 9, somewhere around there, and then into the 2010s, just chatting with them and whatnot. Being a big fan of the magazine, I got my Slayer mags at Wild Rags. So the two most important fanzines for me on my journey into the underground there was Slayer mag and there was Uniforce. Mark from Impetigo, that was his fanzine. And then, of course, Richard had the Wild Rag. It's very underrated, the Wild Rag. It was a great fanzine. It was one of the best ever, top 10 easily, as far as I'm concerned. But those three, Slayer, Uniforce, and the Wild Rag. And everybody knows Wild Rags for the label and the store, obviously, in Montebello here in LA. But the fanzine's actually really the reason why he was able to expand worldwide and get to know all these different bands all over. And due to that fanzine and the connections, and of course the label, Richard had some good relationships with the Norwegian metalheads. So John definitely got in contact with Richard at one point and was sending magazines in. So that was cool. That's how I was able to, basically start knowing what Slayer Mag was. And my introduction to Norway was that. So there was a section in there along with the awesome interviews with everybody, at the time and the coverage. And, he would review albums and demos, and they would have playlists of their favorite stuff at the time and this, that, and the other. It was really cool. But there was a section called Norse Force, and he would talk about different bands, right? So this is where I discovered Mayhem. He was talking about Mayhem. So I was like, who's Mayhem? Here's some more examples of Norse Force. See, there's Mayhem, Dark Throne, which I'll talk about, Malleus Maleficarum, and Equinox, and Balvaz, Cadaver, and we'll talk about some of these bands here in a bit. But yeah, there's Thrash Mental. Talked about some zines. So in the Norse Force section of the fanzine, which in the book there's sections of each fanzine. So every chapter is basically the different era of the number of the fanzine he was doing that period. Between a year or two or whatever, he would release a fanzine, an issue. So each issue had the Norse Force pretty much, and he would talk about the local Norwegian bands. So that was the way that a lot of us were able to get a hold of the different people. There's Old Funeral, Amputation, Balvaz, Atrox, so on and so forth. So there's Buttocks, see? And it's interesting too. When I was going, there's Mortem, and I don't remember a lot of these bands. I didn't write to every single one. See, I don't have every single fucking demo. You saw the box. I have a shit ton of Norwegian death metal demos, but even I don't have every single one. So, but yeah, so that was the introduction into expanding into Norway. And Mayhem was one of the first bands that I started getting in contact with. So I wrote to Euronymous. Once I wrote to the P.O. box that was in Slayer Mag, Euronymous answered my letter, and then we became pen pals for a few years. I've talked about this in the past, but we'll get a little deeper into that here right now. But before I get into Mayhem and Euronymous and all that, and pen paling and tape trading with him, here's some examples too. Like there's Algo. People might know that band, kind of black and death metal band, but I think it was the guys from Buttocks, who I'll talk about, moved on to Algo, and pretty cool stuff, So it wasn't all just straight black metal. Although here's Immortal. They started off death metal, started getting serious with the black metal. You see Demonaz right there with his eye black, getting all evil. But then right next to the Morbid Angel interview, classic old school, there's Vomit. And I'm going to talk about them here in a bit. And then here is an Old Funeral interview. So, John was covering some death metal stuff. Old Funeral, Thou Shalt Suffer. I'm going to talk about them. And Here's another feature on Vomit. Into the Vomitorium. Vomit was fucking badass. So yeah, I'm going to talk about, I think I have the Vomit demo around here somewhere. I mean, there's a lot. So, but yeah, before I got into the Mayhem stuff, I just wanted to cover this stuff real quick. That's just an example of what John was covering. But yeah, so real quick too, here's some examples of the evolution of Mayhem. So I believe that's the very first ad that was run in Slayer Mag for Mayhem. I'm not 100% on that, but I believe it is. I'm pretty certain that's what it is. And that's a lot of our introduction to that band. You know, we started hearing a lot about them. They were all over the fucking place in the underground. 87, you know. So that's when we started hearing about them. And the curiosity began. So there's the page that it appeared on there. It's a whole section on Mayhem, actually, really cool. And, you know, John was really close with these guys, and they were Euronymous and Necro Butcher were really trying to get things going there for a while. They had Maniac, then they finally found Hellhammer, and they were able to put everything together. There's the various ads. See, it's a little bit more lighthearted. You know, they're over there fucking around in the suburbs. There's that famous car that they had. I think a lot of you might have read about it in the Swedish death metal book, talking about Mayhem showing up over there. It's probably in the Lords of Chaos too. I read that book, but it was years ago. But yeah, there's Euronymous playing the piano on the right, you know, kind of fucking around, you know, fun and games, no big deal. That's when Mayhem was a death metal band, I guess. You know, so, and then it started getting serious. There's Dead, Corpse Paint. Started getting dark and evil and serious and black metal. And then there it is. There's Euronymous there. So yeah, they started getting, the jokes were over at this point. And then, you know, the interview, you know, answers were short and shit talking on everything. Everything sucks. Scott Burns sucks. Morrisound sucks. Earache sucks. Death metal sucks. Bunch of jokes. We're going to kill them all. I remember that. So that was an example of the evolution of Mayhem there, from piano playing goofballs, having fun, to cold, grim black metal guys. But no, Euronymous was cool, and we started tape trading. And I've said in prior shows, you know, he sent me like the Tormentor demo, and I was going to go through my Mayhem. I got a cool little Mayhem collection. Some of this stuff's rare, apparently. I'm going to do a show on this one because he sent me a package randomly in the middle of our communication that popped up. And he sent this demo that I'm going to show you in with some other ones like Monumentum, Psy, just some stuff that he was going to put out on Death Like Silence Productions. So apparently this thing's pretty rare. This is like a original copy. I'm going to show it real quick, so I don't know if YouTube's going to get all weird about it. Boom, what's that? Oh, shit. You didn't see that. Nothing to see here, nothing to see here. But yeah, this is an original. The irony of like having this fucking thing, and the guy that put this, you know, that did this band or project ended up killing Euronymous later. It's just fucking crazy to me. And it's actually a decent demo, you know. As I was listening to it, I was like, fuck, it was cool. You know, when he sent it to me, it was like, oh, all right, well, it's definitely not Morbid Angel, you know, because that's what I was fucking worshiping at the time. And, you know, because I think this was 90, 91, somewhere around there. It was, like I said, right in the middle of our communication. And yeah, he would randomly send me some stuff every once in a while that he would think I'd like, you know. And Euronymous was into a lot of different types of music too. So we would always talk about Tangerine Dream and movie soundtrack music and Sonic Youth and stuff like that. So yeah, we were both into. It was interesting too because he was always like, yeah, you know, that 120 minutes show on MTV is interesting. You know, I got some okay stuff on there sometimes. I was like, yeah, I agree. Some of it's garbage, some of it's great, you know. So some of that alternative music is very, very good. Awesome. Especially as I got older, I appreciate it. But anyways, yeah. So interesting having this thing. And I've kept it all these years just as a personal thing. I'm not a fan of the band or the dude himself, whatever. He ended up, he was this scary dipshit for a number of years that killed my friend, so I didn't really think much of him. He ended up getting out of prison and becoming kind of a cartoon character online, with his weird karate kicks and weird songs that he would sing or whatnot, and some of the weird stories. I don't know. I don't even know. To me, he's just kind of a clown or whatever at this point. Put out some pretty cool stuff, though, I will admit. I wasn't a huge black metal guy, but Euronymous was definitely into some of that stuff, and he was going to be putting it out. Obviously, we'll get into the transition or whatever in a bit. I wanted to kind of cover there was like 3 main bands and characters that I got in touch with at first. So, but yeah, he also sent me this. Pretty cool. Apparently this, like I said, this one's really rare. This is like just a rehearsal in the jam room. Really cool, really raw. Then there's this one. This one's fucking cool. Some live stuff, just like a compilation of a bunch of shit. Very cool stuff. And then this was the first thing that he sent me, is the Pure Fucking Armageddon recording. That's when they first started really getting the ball rolling. And then obviously the legendary Death Crush. These are all originals from him. So to talk about my Mayhem collection a bit. And, like I said, we were pretty tight. I mean, I got to the point, like I've talked in the past, I was talking to him over the phone, and I'm living here with my folks in Fullerton, and, my mom's coming in, what's with this $60 phone bill? You got this weird 2-hour phone call to Norway. What's going on? That was talking to him. So we were just taking notes. He was really interested in especially at first, he was really interested in the Los Angeles underground. So he was asking questions about Cryptic Slaughter and Nausea and Majesty, and it's funny, like he knew about Majesty, and I was like, I'd only roughly heard of that band 1 or 2 times, and I'd totally forgotten about him, but he knew more stuff about LA underground stuff than I did, it seemed at the time. I was just this little punk kid, little poser. I was still like, oh, do you like Testament? And he's just like, what? You have to hear Tormentor. So yeah, he was a little older, so he had a jump start on some of us little shits, little young shits. But he was really in, had a lot of questions about that. So it was really hard for them to get Nausea stuff and whatnot, especially, once Terrorizer, the World Downfall came out. It was like, I know he liked it, but, he wanted to go back because obviously that the production, the Morris Sound, production or whatever was really getting generic and overused, so a lot of those guys wanted the raw shit, the Nausea Terrorizer split, the Nausea demos, shit like that. The Terrorizer demo, obviously, the Majesty stuff, and then even stuff like Darkness, because Euronymous started writing to Rick from Sadistic Intent, and I know that those guys are really tight with Darkness LA, and Euronymous was really into Necrophagia. It began with a Twisted Dream demo and stuff like that. The early Wild Rag stuff like Preacher, Resistant Militia, Blood Cum, just the raw shit. And then, he would call Wild Rags too. And both Richard and I would chat with them. And it was cool. Richard would get pissed because I'm sitting there talking to Euronymous. There's fucking customers wandering around. But, it was fun times, and it was interesting too because I know, he started getting a little distant, Euronymous, that is, kind of fed up with what was going on with death metal. So he obviously decided to kind of create this Norwegian black metal cult. You know, it was definitely created. It wasn't like organic, like the Swedish death metal scene, um, which the Norwegians were part of. There, you can read it in the book, in the Swedish death metal book. You know, all of a sudden, I think Norway got frustrated. You know, and Euronymous especially, and he decided to go his own route. Whether that was, you know, it was interesting too, because my friend Chivo, what's up, Chivo? And over there in El Paso, Texas, he had a question for me when I posted, you know, some of the Norway death metal demo pictures recently, a couple months ago, probably. I'd put them online just to generate some buzz around this show that I'm doing today. And he said that he had a buddy who is now passed, rest in peace to his friend. But his friend said that the Norwegian black metal scene is all failed Norwegian death metal musicians. And then he asked me what I thought about that, because a lot of people feel that way, right? You know, I guess there's some truth to that in a sense, because at a certain point, Norway could not compete with Sweden as far as death metal goes. But who could, right? When that explosion happened, I mean, you know, very few cities on earth have a Nikkei Anderson. You know, and, I mean, he was the driving force behind Nihilist and later Entombed, obviously, and super talented and just basically knew. I mean, he was the linchpin of that, right? Just like Euronymous was the linchpin of the Norwegian black metal scene. So they were very similar in that instance. And, you know, Swedish death metal show, I will talk about that, but we're talking about Norway today. But I'm just saying the correlation there is interesting. But people don't understand, like at the time when Left Hand Path came out, there was just this massive explosion. You know, the pot was bubbling prior to that with Nihilist, and then the Life Goes On demo with Entombed, and there was a lot of killer bands, Dismember and Therion and Carbonized and Crematory and Afflicted Convulsion and you know, Macabre End, and I mean it goes on and on and on, Interment. And it was bubbling and bubbling and bubbling, right? It was really good bands too. So the top of the pot was bubbling, the water and the steam was coming out or whatever. Left Hand Path just fucking blew the top off. And that explosion was worldwide. I mean, Entombed literally took over the entire fucking universe, for fuck's sake. So if you were there, you remember that. I mean, it was a phenomenon. It was just insane. So how could anybody compete with that, you know? I mean, yeah, Florida was much the same in a way, but not, I mean, it was just insane how much Entombed blew up, you know? And then, I mean, everything on Earache basically was connected to that. So for whatever reason, Digby didn't want to sign any of the bands in Norway. But obviously Dark Throne came out on Peaceville. But it wasn't the same, you know what I mean? Like, so Sweden got all the attention, and then I guess Norway was just forgotten, you know what I mean? And Finland had their own thing going too. But the guys in Norway, they kind of came first, you know, because Mayhem and some of these other bands had already been going. So they were probably frustrated. So somehow or another, they just figured we're just going to do our own thing, and it's going to be anti-death metal, and it's going to go against everything that's going on right now, because death metal got commercial, you know, it really did. I could kind of understand why some of these Norwegian guys just was like, fuck this. And then later, obviously, it even happened in Finland and Sweden too, where the black metal stuff just started taking over everything. But I think that they just kind of maybe felt disrespected, you know, in that sense, and left behind. So it was just like, you know what? Fuck this shit. We're going to create our own thing then. We're going to do it our way. And they did, you know. And obviously the Norwegian stuff blew up even bigger than the death metal stuff ever did, right? And it became even worse as far as trends and all that stuff and the commercial success and everything. And a lot of it was the controversy, you know, the church burnings and the murders and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it would have ever blown up if it wasn't for that stuff. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think that the Norwegian black metal scene is just full of failed death metal musicians. I don't necessarily see it that way, 100%. Maybe a small portion of it is true, but really it didn't drive it by any means, I don't think. Because as you'll see today, there's some killer Norwegian death metal bands. And even going into the 1993, 94, you know, there's still some demos coming out that were fucking heavy duty, you know, very underrated and forgotten because everybody had turned the page over there and just focused on black metal. So what are you going to do, you know? But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Chivo. And if anybody else ever thought about that, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments, or if you know me, hit me up. If you got an opinion on it, it's all good. We're down for discussions on this channel, on this cheesy underground cable access death metal channel. So yeah, I want some discussions, and no big deal, you know. If you disagree with what I'm saying, I'm not gonna fucking piss and moan about it. I appreciate different opinions. And so yeah, you know, basically I'm going in order as far as like Slayer Mag onto Mayhem, and then the next person that I ran into from Norway was Fenris from Darkthrone. And I think I've shown this demo before, The Land of Frost. I think I played this on Carl's Witching Hour show. It was the first one he sent me. Really cool. We started writing. You might have seen my name pop up in Darkthrone thank list. I had no idea. I mean, I got some Darkthrone stuff, but I don't go through the thank list anymore like I did when I was a kid. But one of my buddies was like, "Oh, dude, I saw you on the thank list for this, that, and the other." You know, oh, cool. You know, that was so awesome. You know, I was like, "Fuck, dude, that's cool." I didn't realize that. You know, but yeah, Fenris and I started writing, and then we reconnected when I was with Metal Maniacs. I did a really cool long interview with him. I wish I had those files. I'd like to drop that online somewhere or whatever, because I know Metal Maniacs, the website closed down. I don't know what Mike Riddick did with all that stuff, but I lost my master files to most of the interviews I did. But the Fenris interview was really cool. And we had reconnected on Facebook, I believe, and he was doing the band of the week, and I actually sent him a few bands, and he featured them too. He's like, "Oh, cool," you know, because you know we have very similar tastes. Fender's always had really good taste in music, and then there's this one, Darkthrone 88. He actually put 2 demos, so sometimes, like I said, I don't like busting the demos open because it's a pain in the ass and shit ends up falling over the place and fucks up the flow of the show. But there was 2 in here, so the 88. And what is this? Thunderkarara. I don't know. One of the demos. It's 89 or something like that. Yeah, 89. Second demo. Thulakandra. Anyways, there you go. Boom. Double dose there. He put, he's being a tightwad. He put fucking 2 covers in 1 tape, and you know, A and B each demo. Just fucking around. A lot of people did that. I have a lot of demos like that. It's all good. So yeah, those are the Darkthrone demos, and the 88. I think that's the Cromlech demo, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I got the Cromlech demo. If that's not the there's like 3 or 4 Darkthrone demos. I got a lot of shit here. So, but yeah, I got all the Darkthrone demos. And then it was cool. He sent me this at one point. This is the Isengard. This was his project. A lot of people probably familiar with it, Spectres of Gorgoroth. This was really cool because it's like old school black metal. So I know Darkthrone took that turn, you know, after Soulside Journey, which was fucking amazing, you know. But they went full black metal after that, Blazing Northern Sky and all that. But he was always into that raw stuff too, you know, just chatting with him. Really cool guy, you know. Really into all kinds of different music. He was really curious about old LA speed metal and stuff like that, Abattoir and Agent Steel. You know, really loves that Agent Steel album, as you've seen in some of his album notes. You know, he credits the Agent Steel early stuff is like really influential on his writing and whatnot. So that's really cool. But again, he had a lot of questions about nausea and majesty and all that stuff. So, you know, any band that Oscar Garcia was in, basically, there was one of the Godfathers here in LA for sure. But yeah, no, Fenn was cool, man. I was able to connect with him through Slayer Mag as well, and we started chatting. So that's the way it went down, as far as, like I said, Slayer Mag, then found out about Mayhem, and then found out about Dark Throne, and then this next band in person is my buddy Harold. And Amputation had this demo, was all over the place. There was ads for it everywhere. Really got around. So Demo 89, Achieve the Mutilation, total raw, sloppy death metal classic. One of my favorites. I think he was also in Old Funeral. Another fucking classic. Got this from him as well. And then once Immortal started, I think I showed this over at Carl's show as well. Maybe on Roy's. It's on Roy's death metal podcast as well. But yeah, this is Immortal with the logo even, but this is full on death metal. Really good. Heavy death, man. Heavy death. There it is. But yeah, no, Harold was cool. You might know him as Demonaz Dumakota. And started writing with him. Very cool guy, and really knowledgeable. And again, we started tape trading and stuff, and just kind of a lot of compilation tapes with Harold, just making them all kinds of stuff, whatever I can get my hands on out here. Sadistic Intent, Nausea, Demolition, Entity, Excruciating Terror, Darkness, Necrophagia, all the best of the best that we had in LA. I don't remember if Harold was really into the thrashy hardcore stuff, because we had a lot of that out here as well. Of course, Slayer and Dark Angel are the most famous, thrash bands from LA. Metallica started here, and then they got the hell out of here. It was a weird time back then for the real heavy, fast stuff. But yeah, so like I said, Slayer Mag introduced me to it. I ended up running into Mayhem and Euronymous, Dark Throne and Fenn, and Harold and Amputation, Old Funeral, and Immortal. So that and I think Harold might have been in a couple of these demos. I was looking, I thought I grouped everything together. So, but yeah, these are the classic Harold demos here that I wanted to show, and those are the first three people that I actually got in contact with as far as Norway goes. And then inside their packages would be flyers to some of these other demos that I'm going to be talking about here. So these guys also got me into various bands specifically. So it was cool. They would mention it in the letters, or they would recommend them to me. So yeah, you got to go check this band out or whatever, or there'd be a flyer in their package for it. Because I think even one of the Euronymous packages had the ad for Amputation, Achieve the Mutilation, but this demo was everywhere. I mean, this was at Wild Rags. This was all over the place. I had quite a few friends that had this demo. All right, but before I move forward too, I wanted to mention a really cool channel called Merciless Onslaught. This is the logo. And this is Johnny Hell Preacher from Texas. And a really cool guy. Just made his acquaintance recently. And he did a Norway death metal show. Or a playlist, basically. It was fucking insane. He basically did this playlist a couple months ago, and it pretty much had everything that I'm talking about today. I mean, he covered it all pretty much. So he knows his shit for sure. I was laughing when I got in contact with him and he sent me the list. I was like, dude, I think I have most of these demos, man. We were laughing about it. It was like, fucking A, man, he's on it. It was really cool. It was just an example of, so yeah, it's a Norwegian death slot. And he had a bunch of stuff on there. even some newer stuff. But yeah, you know, he had Mayhem, Cadaver, and the playlist was fucking badass. So yeah, you got to go check it out. It's criminally only has like a handful of subscribers. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's like, fuck, I struggle to get subscribers right now, but his channel was like, dude, really? I mean, he does some really cool shit too. So yeah, everybody get out there, subscribe to his channel, go support him. I want to try to get this guy some more eyes on his channel because he's doing some really cool stuff. He does themed playlists. He does a lot of Texas bands because Texas metal, in my opinion, is totally underrated. I have a show coming up in the future, you know, fucking with schedules, who knows, but I want to get Carl on here and talk about some Texas stuff. And I got a bunch of Texas demos too. I want to do a full Texas demo show, but I want to try to get some Texas motherfuckers on here and maybe, you know, maybe do some live stuff finally. Maybe we can actually play some fucking music and skip the copyright bullshit if we do it live. But anyways, yeah, Johnny's show was awesome. I ran into him through my buddy Mark James. What's up, Mark? If you're watching. And Johnny, what's up, man? If you're watching. Appreciate you guys. But Mark is an old school DJ over in Buffalo, crazy metalhead. He does his own metal show. So I'm sure a lot of you motherfuckers heard of Mark. He's been around forever. So, but yeah, Johnny's Merciless Onslaught channel, and then he has some other links or whatever. You just hook up with him on there, and then he'll have some stuff to check out. But I wanted to connect this show today with his Norwegian Death Slot show, which we have a lot in common as far as that goes. But we are going to kick things off now officially after talking about the introduction of the different bands or whatever. Now we shall talk about Cadaver, the mighty Cadaver, and one of the early Norwegian death metal bands that I got into. Fucking cool. Heavy shit. Here's the boys. They always had the fucking coolest sweaters, I noticed. They're fucking chilling in the park. Looks like a golf course almost. I didn't know they had golf courses in Norway, but we have a lot out here in Southern California. But yeah. What do you do when four Norwegians hang out on a golf course? They play some fucking gnarly death metal, you know. But nah, these fuckers. Killer fucking band. And like I said, one of the early bands that I discovered because they were pretty early on. But yeah, this fucking beast of a demo made its rounds. Abnormal Deformity. This got all over the place. Ugly ass fucking yellow fucking tape cover with the fucking cartoon fucking, just fucking the riffs on here. Totally insane. I mean, Hallucinating Anxiety is a fucking underrated classic. I mean, don't sleep on those fucking Norwegian death metal records too. Soulside Journey, Hallucinating Anxiety, that fucking Molested stuff. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah. Fucking Cadaver, man. Heavy duty shit. They were in Raid Fredrikstad. 1988 they were formed. And I used to write to Ole. I don't know. My Norwegian's horrible. But yeah, I used to tape trade with him. Really cool guy. He's the drummer, as I said. And found out about Cadaver through Slayer Mag. So again, you know, tied that in. And this was 1989. There's 6 songs on this beast. And what he did, all he did is he put the Into the Outside demo on the B side of this. So again, there's 2 demos on here. He didn't send me a cover of that. This is cool enough, right? You got this cover. You don't need to send any other ones. But it's cool. I got the first demo on the, I believe that's the first demo. They might have an earlier one. But and then here's the Sunset at Dawn demo. He sent me that one too. Cadaver, Sunset at Dawn. on the B side of the Sunset at Dawn, he put a live show on there for me, which is cool. I was like, fucking forgot about that. That was on there. So I was listening back to these. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So really fucking cool, you know. Yeah, Cadaver is fucking great. You know, there's a definite Carcass influence, but still kind of thrashy too, like death thrash, you know, like early death metal. Really unique, to be honest with you. But then the riffs, dun, 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 you know, just fucking great. What a great band. And they put out Norway's first death metal record, technically, too. So, Hallucinating Anxiety in November of 1990 on Necrosis Records, run by Jeff and Bill from Carcass. And they also did the split CD. So they did separate LPs for Cadaver and Carnage, but then they did the split CD. I think I have that somewhere too. I got both of those, and then got the split CD, which was cool, with Carnage Dark Recollections. And then total fucking classic, Hallucinating Anxiety. But yeah, these fucking demos rule, man. Cadaver's fucking one of the brutal fucking early Norwegian bands that I got into. And then Hallucinating Anxiety is an underrated classic, in my opinion, like I said. And I even like that second album, In Pains. A little bit different, but it's still fucking killer, you know. And then the stuff they were doing with Apollyon from On Noir. We'll talk about one of his old bands later, but fucking good stuff. You know, they got a little bit more thrashy, you know, like Art Noir, but totally fucking killer. Classic, elite Norwegian death metal. And what's up, Ollie? I don't know where you are today, if you're still even in the band, but I appreciate you, brother. These fucking demos rule. Fucking some of my favorites for sure. Fucking Cadaver rules. You know, the links and all that. If you're curious or you can't find them, hit me up. I'll be happy to send them to you. You know what, man? We're going to give Amputation some more love, okay? Just because we're not going to play by the fucking rules today. I'm going to go back and give them some love. Amputation. Talk about Achieve the Mutilation again real quick. We'll go back. Everybody already knows about Mayhem and Dark Throne, Immortal, even Old Funeral. But we'll talk about Old Funeral a little bit too. But Amputation, man, you know, that was one of the early bands too. So Bergen, Norway, Achieved the Mutilation, 4 songs on this beast in 89. Let's check out the picture of the boys here. Look at that. That's Amputation. They did Slaughter in the Arms of God. For some reason, I don't have that one. I was looking. I don't think I remember ever getting that. Whatever, Harold. 2-song demo in 1990. Why didn't you send me that, bruh? I'm missing that shit. That's a missing piece to the puzzle here. God damn, man. Fucking holding out on me, man. No, I'm just fucking around. I mean, shit, he sent me the Immortal and the Old Funeral, you know. I guess that makes up for it. Mr. Demonaz Dumakolta. He formed Sacracy in 1998. And then Amputation became the new name. Good old Olv, a.k.a. Abath Dumakolta, was also an Amputation. All those guys were also in Old Funeral too, which I discussed. Harold was in Old Funeral. And then Amputation split up. And Old Funeral was formed. And then Old Funeral split up. And Amputation was formed. So Harold was actually, one thing I forgot about too, he put a 6-song rehearsal on the other side of the Achieve the Mutilation and a live show, So yeah, I didn't get the demo Slaughtered in the Arms of God, but I got this other stuff. So, he made up for it. I take that back. You weren't holding out on me, Harold. Thanks, buddy. That's fucking cool. There is a amputation compilation, I believe, that was put out. I have no fucking idea what label put it out, but I remember seeing it around. So fucking get on Google and hunt that shit down. Some of you motherfuckers are smarter than me, and you're better. Younger, sharper, smarter, you got more brain cells, you could fucking hunt that shit down. No big deal. But yeah, I can't, I don't know if it was FOAD, Fuck Off and Die Records. I mean, he's the master of some of these re-releases. Maybe Dark Symphonies or The Crypt did it, but I know that there's an amputation compilation out there. But, amputation, Old Funeral, and Immortal all shared members. So good stuff. But yeah, I wanted to give amputation some love real quick. So maybe we'll discuss Old Funeral real quick next. How's that? Okay, hold on. Let me go grab that shit. And then we go. Old Funeral. Abduction of Limbs. Unfortunately, this band became more known for having Varg in it, which I thought was funny. He was only in the band very short time. He's on that fucking 7-inch picture, I don't really know what his total involvement was, but a lot of the same guys. I don't think he's in that picture, but Harold and Abath are definitely there. One of those motherfuckers. Old Funeral, baby. Maybe that's him in the top left, Varg. I don't know. Kind of looks like him. Didn't he have the fucking somebody had the goddamn Scorpions patch? That fucking stupid movie. It was fucking entertaining, but it was pretty bad. Whatever. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. It was just like the book, Can't fucking take that Lords of Chaos book too serious. A lot of it, fuck. I mean, I wasn't in Norway, but I was there, and I knew some of these guys when that shit was happening. So it's just kind of like the sensationalism, just kind of cracks me up about all this stuff. But Old Funeral's fucking awesome, man. Also, Bergen, formed in 1998. Abduction of Limbs. 3 songs on this fucking beast. Again, amputation. I think Varg joined in 90. And then I covered the Devoured Carcass 7-inch on the Thrash Records episode. It's badass. So yeah, fucking love Old Funeral, man. Fucking killer stuff. Wanted to give them some love too, but mainly amputation, like I said, because they're kind of forgotten. And if you like your raw, sloppy death metal, you could tell that these guys were listening to the Death and Massacre demos, and Master and Genocide and stuff like that, as everybody was back then, evolving from, the heaviest shit there for a while was Pleasure to Kill by Creator, the heaviest, fastest stuff. So once these other bands took it further, like Merciless and Mayhem and whatever, trying to get even more extreme, right? But no, love amputation and Old Funeral too. All right, so moving right along, we got a lot to cover. So if I'm going too fast, I apologize, but we got a lot to fucking cover, and I want to make sure I get it all crammed in here. We're already an hour deep, so hopefully you're enjoying it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, spread the word. I want to get some more subscribers for Johnny and friends like that, but I also need some for me too. So spread it around. Next band up is Brain Dead with the Balvaz demo. And they also did Balvaz after that. So here we go. Brain Dead and Balvaz. Connected bands, and I got a couple of other bands that are connected here as well. So I wrote to Lassie from Brain Dead and Balvaz, and I found out about this group Actually, Euronymous had mentioned them in one of his letters, but I also saw them featured in a Norse Force Slayer Mag Battalion article as well. So it was like, okay, so if these guys are talking about this band, Brain Dead, which transitioned into Balvaz, then yeah, I need to definitely find out about these fucking guys. There they are. So that's both Brain Dead and Balvaz. Same fucking guys. I have no idea which one my contact was, unfortunately. But it's a fucking cool picture. So they did the Balvaz demo, the Brain Dead Balvaz demo in '88, and then the Kalias Tapas Balvaz demo in '89. And let's see, they were formed in '89 in Fredrikstad as Brain Dead. Then they changed to Balvaz. And the Brain Dead demo is a fucking killer. It's got a goofy intro, kind of like just some goofy shit. I don't know how to explain it, but you'll go check it out. Go check out the link. But it's really like that cool '80s proto death, you know, kind of thrashy, raging death thrash type stuff, you know, very raw, very crude, fucking badass stuff, man. I dig Brain Dead. I know Fenriz is really into them too. Very influential. These guys were fucking early on, you know, so these early bands really helped shape Norway. Regardless, I know that things evolved into black metal or whatever, but it doesn't matter. These a lot of these central characters involved in this scene really got things moving with Extremity, you know, because everything just started getting faster and heavier or whatnot in different ways, you know. So there's 6 songs on the Brain Dead demo. You know, I always thought it's more of a rehearsal tape. You know, it sounds like they're in their jam room just fucking around, but it's great, man. Killer stuff. It's got one foot in thrash still. Like I said, it's that proto death style. So you're talking about mid 80s to 88. There was a lot of stuff that was like that, you know. The Balvaz Kalias Tepos demo is a little heavier. It's starting to get, you know, you can tell they've been probably listening to a little Scream Bloody Gore, some Leprosy, you know, definitely getting heavier, but still very similar. You can tell it's 3 songs on the Balvaz demo and has a little bit, they slowed down a little bit, more prodding, a little darker, a little evil. Maybe that's why they changed the name to Balvaz, but it's really fucking cool. The other side of this demo actually has the Phlegm recording, which is even heavier and darker and has a few faster parts. I assume maybe they were starting to get influenced by a little grindcore, Napalm, Morbid Angel, you know, shit like that. And fucking killer stuff though, man, by Lassie and the boys. And definitely wanted to talk about it in the evolution of Norway death metal. All right. So after the demise of Balvaz, I don't have a band photo of these guys from back in the day, but Lassie did Disgusting. And this is some killer shit. So this is the next project after the demise of Balvaz. It was formed in 1992, and they did 2 demos, which I have here. The Lament Configuration in 1992, which has 7 songs, and Chronological Perversity in 1994, which has 5 songs. So I think Disgusting to me is more like South American death metal, you know, that Conjumalo mid 80s to late 80s type stuff. It's very influenced by that South American stuff. A little bit of Florida moved in, and it kind of reminds me of Necrophagia from Ohio. You know, Killjoy, rest in peace, buddy. But Killjoy's band definitely has all that kind of thrown into the bloody blender. And then here's the first demo. See if I can get the glare off of there. There we go. And then here's the second one. They got full color on this one. Kind of looks like that David Lee Roth Eat 'em and Smile cover a little bit. Used to laugh. Is that fucking David Lee Roth zombie style or something? What the fuck's going on there? But no, killer stuff, man. Lassie was on fire back then, and fucking really fucking dug this stuff that they did, and yeah, remained in contact. I forget if why we got the second demo. I think Lassie was trying to get in onto the Extinction of God comms because we were still doing stuff into '94, and then I obviously started focusing on Gasp, and then Bart got into the wrestling stuff, and obviously he started selling wrestling memorabilia and doing his own company, AWS, and I'm gonna have to get him on the channel, fucking talk about EOG and AWS and see what he's up to these days. But yeah, he got more involved in wrestling, and I got more involved in bands or whatever. So obviously the fanzine ended, but we were still doing shit up until '94 or so. So I think that's why Lassie had sent me this demo, the second Disgusting demo. But yeah, good shit. It's Brain Dead, Balvaz, Disgusting. That's the trifecta that's connected between Lassie and when I was in contact with him. That's, he sent me those. All right. I'm going to end this little section of the projects of Lassie with probably my favorite death metal demo from Norway. And I had a couple of friends mention this in the know from back then. And I forget if it was Alan Moses from Buttface Zine, my buddy, or if it was my other buddy, Fred Schaus from Apocalyptic Things Comp. Fucking love both of those guys, old school, through and through, man. Both older than I am. And I used to get Buttface actually from Wild Rags too. So I didn't write to Alan back in the day, but then I became friends with him over the years through my buddy Enrique Chavez from Sadistic Intent and Lurking Terror, which, by the way, go check out Lurking Terror, fucking killer. But yeah, I forget if it was Alan or Fred who had mentioned Hider. Holy fucking shit, this fucking demo. Everybody right now, pause this and go bring this fucking link up and listen to it. It's so fucking brutal. This is right up there with any fucking classic death metal demo as far as I'm concerned. If you think I'm wrong, fuck off. You don't know shit. No, this is great. When Johan was in Norway, it's also got a rehearsal on here as well. So it's got the When Johan was in Norway recording and the rehearsal. And this is Johan from Carnage and Furbowl, one of my favorite death metal singers of all time, and probably one of the top 5 influential vocalists on me is the mighty Johan, because he's one of my idols. Because the Day Man Lost demo, if that didn't exist, Ruin wouldn't exist. So that basically inspired me to really get going with Ruin again, reform it. It inspired us back in the day too. But yeah, Lassie was in this band, and total morbid death metal, great riffs, and obviously great vocals. And you need to go check it out. Not a lot of people know about Hider. It was kind of under the radar because it does have one Swede. Johan is a Swede, he's obviously from Sweden, but he used to Norway and Sweden, they would hang out. They were friends and they would help each other out. So yeah, the Hider demo. You can barely see it. I don't know if you can see that. It's all faded. There we go. Rare Soul. When Johan was in Norway, 1990. Fucking heavy duty. But yeah, Lassie was in this, and I got very lucky to get a copy of this. Apparently, this is pretty rare too. They're only sending this out to friends and whatnot that they were in contact with. So fucking blessed, brother. Blessed. Fucking really appreciate you, Lassie. And Can't rave about Hider enough. Let's see. Let me grab a logo real quick. Throw that up. Let's see. Where we at? There it is. Hider. And here's the boys. There they are. Ready to fucking death metal it up. Classic shit. I'm telling you, go check it out. This is my favorite Norwegian death metal demo of all time. So there's a lot of them. There's a lot of good ones. But yeah, this has to be probably number one. So go check it out immediately. And then when you're done listening and watching the YouTube link for Hider, come back and finish the fucking show, would you? Thank you. All right, real quick. I wanted to get into Vomit real quick. This is a band that Fenriz had got me into early old school death metal. Like, just, you know, the proto-death stuff, 80s, mid to late 80s. Raw, fucking, I mean, shit, the guys started in 1983 as Cable, and then 85 they became Vomit. Formed in Nitendal Viken in Norway. And yeah, Fenriz sent me a comp tape, and for the life of me, I thought I fucking saw it the other day, and now I can't find it, so I misplaced it. I have it. I know I saw it the other day. I'm not losing my shit that much. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have it on me, and I wasn't going to put off the show trying to find a Vomit demo, unfortunately. No offense to those guys. But yeah, Fenriz put a bunch of rehearsals. They got a fuck ton of just raw rehearsal fucking tapes in their jam room. Fucking awesome. I don't know much about it, but I love the fuck out of it. So hopefully I can find it again. Here's the guys hanging out, fucking goofing off in the rehearsal room. So real quick, I wanted to get into Vomit before we moved on to the mighty Mortem. And this is the Slow Death demo. And I talked about the Slow Death 7-inch on the Thrash Records, Putrefaction Records episode. So Mortem was formed in 87 in Oslo. And this is the 89 Slow Death demo. Fucking classic. So, you know, for the time, Mortem was like really fucking heavy duty and extreme as far as I was concerned. Very South American, but the vocals and the fucking production, it was just like, I mean, if you like war metal, you would, you know, obviously you fucking love the Slow Death Mortem recording. Blown out vocals, heavy ass guitars, distorted production. They broke up at some point in the 90s and reformed in 2018. I guess they're back and still around, but they're doing more black metal stuff. I guess they did an album on Peaceville. I haven't heard it or anything. I know that the members in Mortem, like the couple of the main dudes, went on to form Arcturus. So there's 6 songs on this fucking legendary fucking demo. One of the best representations of Norwegian death metal for sure. Nice, raw as fuck shit. I wrote to Steiner, the bassist guitarist, and Euronymous told me about Mortem. And, you know, this demo and the 7-inch were just all over the fucking place. It's a real legendary recording. Dead drew this cover art, Dead from Mayhem and Morbid. And Euronymous recorded this recording in the jam space, and Hellhammer played drums on it. So it's got a lot of legendary black metal dudes affiliated with it. So Vold, Stein, and Hellhammer went on to form Arcturus after this recording. Right around 1990, they got that band going and focused on black metal. But yeah, I mean, like I said, a big South American influence. I think that Mortem was way ahead of their time, in my opinion. Like I said, kind of had that war metal sound, kind of like the raw blasphemy stuff mixed with maybe like that Rotting Christ demo, Satanas Tedium. Got a old Mayhem influence for sure, obviously. But I love the blown out vocals on here. It's just so fucking bizarre for the time. I thought it was so fucking heavy. Real barbaric, simplistic, to the point, real fucking noisy. So yeah, I mean, even if you like raw grindcore and fucking raw black metal stuff, you dig the Mortem recording. Fucking great shit. Legendary recording for Norway and the underground overall. All right, moving on. The mighty Molested is up next. Great fucking band. Underrated. Stalk the Dead is definitely top 5, if not maybe my second favorite Norwegian death metal demo. But it's up there. Maybe I'll make a list at the end of the show. I was thinking about doing that, but here's the boys all fucking eviled out, all zombied out. Not quite corpse paint, but, kind of looking like fucking corpses for sure. Formed in 1991 in Bergen. They were actually Purgation and then changed their name to Molested. So Stalk the Dead demo 1992. I have a original version. Classic. Stalk the Dead. See if I can get the glare off of there. Maybe not. Yeah, it's hard. And then this is a Tape Trader copy. I'm not really sure why I had this extra one. Maybe I made this for somebody, or maybe somebody even made it for me. I don't know. Oh, there's even a title on the spine anyways. Yeah, I got 2 of these motherfuckers. And no, I'm not fucking selling them or going to fucking give it to you, so don't ask. I don't know why I have the other variant, but it looks like it's just a photocopy. Like I said, I might have made it for somebody. 2 songs on Stalk the Dead, but it doesn't matter. It's fucking brilliant. One of the most underrated death metal bands of all time, in my opinion, Molested. Unborn Woods and Doom, demo 93. 5 songs. Equally fucking awesome. Try to get the glare off of there. Fucking amazing. Great fucking band. And I wrote to Oystein. It is cool. Got the demos from him. He ended up going on to Borknagar, and I don't really know much about them. I know they're black metal and people dig them. I don't remember if I've even heard that band. And there were members of Gorgoroth and Ancient that were in Molested at one point. But the Blood Drawn album and the Stormvold EP are fucking classics. This is a fucking classic band. Totally criminally underrated. Molested fucking rules. I know my buddy Brandon over at Nameless Graves, the label that Ruin's on, he loves fucking Molested for sure. And a big influence on some of the death metal stuff that he does. But they're crushing and barbaric as far as I'm concerned. They have a simplistic approach, kind of like early Asphyx. They have some eerie passages, a lot of haunting riffs, and some crushing heaviness on here. Killer fast parts too. They the fast parts meld really well with the slow stuff. But like I said, Stalk the Dead. There's only 2 songs on here, but it's still one of my all-time favorite demos. It's kind of like that Immolation demo, the '88 demo. There's only 2 songs on there, Immolation and Dawn of Possession, but it doesn't matter. It's fucking rules, just like Stalk the Dead. 2 songs. One of my favorite demos of the era for sure. But Unborn Woods and Doom is also crushing and killer, And this band always had an Immolation vibe to me. That's why I threw that comparison in there. I think that Molested reminds me of Immolation for sure. I don't know if they're influenced by them, or they were, but definitely one of the most underrated death metal bands of all time, in my opinion. So fucking Molested, man. Look it up. Norwegian death metal at its finest. Norway death. Fucking crushing. You will love it. All right, moving right along. We're going to get into some buttocks. Don't let the fucking name fool you. This fucking rules. This fucking demo fucking kills. I know it's a fucking goofy name. That shows you what was up with Norway back in the day. They were kind of like everybody else, just fucking having a good time. But there's no fucking way that a later era black metal musician would ever fucking release anything called Buttocks. Look at that fucking thrash metal logo with some dripping death metal shit going on. You gotta fucking love it. But formed in 1989 in Vortig Subsburg. Started off as Seance. So they were Buttocks, then they were All Go, which I have this as well. But I wrote to my buddy Glenn. Glenn is fucking cool. He's in actually a handful of bands here I'm going to talk about, trying to group all this shit together with the members. So wrote to Glenn, and he sent me basically every single fucking thing. I wrote to Glenn through Slayer Mag. Found out about Buttocks. Back then, who cares what the name was, Fucking names didn't matter. There's the Buttocks boys hanging out, getting ready to get fucking brutal. Glenn sent me like fucking this tape. This particular, it's funny, I can never pronounce this thing. Isa Merkel Turkus. It's that demo has 6 songs and an intro and an outro. It's basically like a fucking album. But he put a bunch of stuff on here. There's like a 1990 recording that has the War Kills demo on there. 32 songs. So, hardcore punk influenced, fast shit. There's some rehearsals from 1990, and there's a live set from 1990 as well. And I think that, the War Kills stuff is more like hardcore punk, some fast stuff, a lot of mid-pace stuff. Kind of reminds me of like Anti-Sect, Amoebics, like that anarcho crusty shit, Old Hell Bastard. And I don't know if any of you have heard of Toxic Narcotic from Boston. I think they were from a killer band, mid-paced, fucking just metallic, fucking old school, fucking late 80s, early 90s hardcore. I think Gas played a show with them at one point when they were out here. They used to come out here quite a bit and play. I always appreciated them. But by 91, they started getting real fucking heavy duty, getting more death metal. So, this demo, basically the main focus of this tape the first stuff that's on the tape, as far as it's a compilation with everything on there that they've done. Most of the stuff that they've done, their early stuff included. But this stuff here is more death metal, you know. It's heavier. The vocals are a little heavier. Songwriting is definitely, definitely more death metal. So once they switched over to the Algo stuff, they were getting really heavy duty and a little bit of black metal type stuff. So, it's that black and death metal style. So it was interesting too. This demo's good, it's definitely good. On here is 2 demos that Glenn had sent me. The Priests Are Laughing. It's got 4 songs. And then Witch Sleep has 5 songs. Priests Are Laughing was 1992. Witch Sleep was 1993. So yeah, like I said, there's a bit of black metal mixed in here too. It's frustrating because there is some really fucking amazing death metal riffs and parts on here. It's just like the vocals didn't ever do it for me 100% with Algo. More black metal, they're okay, but it just didn't fit. It didn't fit 100% to me. You're either one or the other, I don't know why Glenn didn't stick with the deep growls, because he's got some really good ones, I think that if they stuck with the more death metal sound 100%, this demo would have been a fucking classic in my opinion, but I don't know. I know that some of their later stuff, the vocals are better, a little bit heavier. They did something with Effigy Records, which also did Obtained Enslavement, who I'm going to talk about here in a bit. But later on, they got really more melodic black death metal style or whatever, black and death metal. And that's just not my thing. But yeah, Glenn's fucking awesome. He's a good guy. We were doing some tape trading and stuff back in the day. So I definitely appreciated him. And he actually has a couple of projects that were more up my bloody alley I'm going to talk about here right now. But yeah, fucking I also ended up right into John, who's in this next band, Cremator. Fucking brutal stuff. So it's kind of a small world in that sense, because let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking a couple of things up here. Yeah, so a lot of these guys are all in the bands, in a bunch of bands, basically. So Glenn and John were both in Cremator, and I fucking love Cremator. So they were formed in '87 in Fredrikstad. And I could have included Cremator earlier with a couple of other bands because this, that, and the other, but I wanted to keep this connected here because it goes into the bridge of the next band I'm going to talk about. That's where I ended up running into John. But for whatever reason, I think Glenn had mentioned something about Cremator, but I ended up getting these demos from John. So I can't remember why I didn't get the tapes from Glenn back in the day, because he was in Cremator for a minute and this and that, but and I think I ended up meeting John through one of the other guys. I'm trying to remember exactly, how I met some of these people. But the fucking memory's pretty faded. But either way, I mean, it might have been through Lassie or even Glenn himself. Maybe Glenn did talk about Cremator in one of the letters. But yeah, going back, either way, John, the bassist from Cremator, sent me these demos. The Shadow of Death is the first one, and Acid Face, one of my favorite Norwegian death metal demos. Very grindy too, and then Necrosentient Mortis Feed was trying to get the glare off of there, was the band that basically Cremator became, and Necrosentient Mortis Feed is apparently still around. But yeah, so Cremator did the 2 demos, The Shadow of Death in 88, 6 songs, Acid Face in 89, 7 songs and an intro. And yeah, that's why I was going to include them earlier with Balvaz, Brain Dead, Hider, Buttocks, but it's, like I said, it bridges into the next band I'm going to talk about, so no biggie. They changed the name to Necrosentient Mortis Feed and put out the 89 demo, Decomposed Desires. So total grinding death metal. If you like Repulsion and Impetigo, you'll like Cremator. I fucking love this band. Almost, again, another kind of war metal type band like Mortem, kind of like that old, the Blasphemy demo, Blood Upon the Altar. Some Slaughter, how Repulsion's really influenced by Strapato, Slaughter, and the Slaughter demos, but Cremator definitely has that sound too. A little bit of Autopsy thrown into the mix as well. Real fucking killer fucking death grind stuff, this Cremator. I like the Necrosentient Mortis Feed. Don't get me wrong, but these fucking Cremator demos, man, just underrated. Nobody talks about them enough. Fucking totally, especially the Acid Face. Just perfect. Noisy, fucking down tune, fucking Repulsion love right there. Fucking classic stuff. So yeah, a lot of these guys were in a bunch of bands, so trying to keep track of everything could get a little fucking confusing sometimes. That's why my memory is like faded, like what the fuck, where did I get this or whatever. But fucking classic stuff, man. Cremator fucking rules. Let's bring up their fucking shit real quick. Let's see. Didn't have it prepped. My apologies. Anyways, all I got is the logo here. Bam! There's the Cremator logo. Go check them out. Shadow of Death and Acid Face. Go check out those demos on YouTube. They're up. And show some love, man. You'll fucking like it if you like that fucking death grind stuff. You'll definitely love Cremator. Okay, so next up we got Fester. Classic Norway death metal band. This is the Winter of Sin. There's their logo. You might be familiar with it. And trying to remember where I got this demo. I think they sent this in for Extinction of God. So they were formed in 89 as Heroic Conduct, and then changed to Fester in 1990. My buddy Dan at Abyss Records, rest in peace, Dan. He recently passed away. And he put out a Fester, I think he put out trying to look here, sorry. I think he put out the Celebration of Death. Yeah, he put out the Celebration of Death CD back in 2012, which was a brand new full length. So one of the guys from Fester, I'm not really sure who sent this tape in. It had the introduction demo on there, and it also had the Winter of Sin, and fucking killer. They put out 3 albums. They're still around, and you know that Celebration of Death is fucking killer. Very unique death metal band. Classic, unique sound. You know, I mean, if you're a fan of death metal, you'll dig it. Has a little bit of a swampy, unique sound to it, but the riffs are fucking killer. And I know Dan really liked them, man. You know, he was definitely pushing that record when he put it out. I ended up reviewing it for Metal Maniacs. I was writing for Metal Maniacs at the time in 2012, so it was I was in close contact with Dan at the time. Did a lot of Abyss Records reviews. He was just sending me stacks of CDs, and I'd get a box from Dan. Really cool guy. Met him in 2010 when Gravehill played Indianapolis. We hung out with the Gates of Slumber guys. They were all there, all 3 of them. I think one of them even promoted the show. The other one worked at the bar that we played, and then the other dude was there just hanging out drinking. So, because I think Bob Fouts played drums in a opening black metal band that played that show, and then Mayax, our buddies, played as well, and then Gravehill played last. It was on the 2010 tour that we did that summer, and got to hang out with Dan. And yeah, rest in peace, Dan. Miss you, brother. But he was really into Fester, and that's why he put them out, obviously. But yeah, so this fucking Fester Winter of Sin demo ended up becoming an album as well. And really, really dig Fester. So that's another classic demo in the Norway death metal lore. Go look it up. Go grab it. Got 2 demos on here, the introduction and Winter of Sin. Classic stuff. All right. So, yeah, Fester fucking ruled. Rest in peace, Dan. But I wanted to get back to some grind real quick, because obviously talked about Cremator. I had to singularly talk about that band. Later became Necrosentient Mortis Feed, which is a cool demo too. But that had members of Fester, so they're tied together. But there was members of Braindead, Balvez, Hyder, Buttocks, Algo, Vider Vang, and Slesk, a couple of the bands I'm going to be talking about right now. So Norway had a handful of little grind bands like Cremator. This is Scab. Got this fucking demo. Classic. Got this through Tony, little fucking crazy tape trader guy. Talked about him in the past. Bootlegger, fucker. This is probably a fucking bootleg, but got it from him back in the 90s. Classic. Just wanted to touch on this real quick. Inside Your Own Doom was this demo. And I got the Slesk demos too. Try to get the glare off of there. Classic Slesk demo, total fucking Absence of Light, killer. And then here's the first one. Look up Slesk if you like fucking crazy ass grindcore. Just wanted to touch on those real quick, along with Cremator. This is a little thing that I made for the Norway grind bands. Only 4, but it's not a fucking well-known and massive grindcore scene by any means, but back then these were the handful of fucking bands that were doing the heavy duty grind stuff. So I wanted to show some love for Scab and Slesk too. Fucking dig these classics. I don't remember where I got the Slush, to be honest with you, but it's probably a bootleg from Tony as well. So if it's sitting here with the Scab demo, it's probably the same thing. A lot of the same members in these projects or whatever. But yeah, look them up. You'll probably dig it. All right, since we're focusing on themes here with the grind stuff, Norway actually had a pretty fucking brutal, doomy fucking scene too. That's a little underrated. There was a lot of fucking doom bands, and especially when Extinction of God did both issues were in Metal Maniacs, and I think we might have even done the first issue of Terrorizer, and we definitely did a couple 2-3 issues of Metal Forces. And we got reviews not only domestically here in the States, but overseas. So we started getting a lot of fucking demos sent our way. But then just through the tape trading networks too, we're getting a lot of stuff. So it, really started with Astareth. Fucking great fucking demo. Norwegian fucking Death Doom. They were formed in 91 in Cantorn. And look, I'm trying to get all the bands some good coverage here. If I'm forgetting to mention where they started, what year, my apologies, man, but there's a lot of stuff to cover today, so I'm going to try to cover as much as I can, but let me go grab their logo. I don't think there's a band photo, but real simple logo. But yeah, this demo fucking rules. Adamus Exul, 1991. There's 2 original songs and an Isengard cover, Thy Gruesome Death, which rules. It's interesting because they're a death metal band and Isengard's more black metal, but I guess they were really into it. This is a really underrated demo, though, for sure. Fucking killer. Very heavy and sludgy. It's a rehearsal, It's really raw and dark, and it's real fucking slow and prodding. And it has a vibe of like Necroschisma, Sempiternal Death Rain. If you're a fucking underground fucking freak, you know who those bands are. Early Asphyx, the Crush the Cenotaph and shit like that. Mutilating Process. But this fucking demo was definitely a fucking huge influence on the original Ruin, recordings. Or the old demo for sure. It fucking definitely fucking used to fucking play this fucking thing out. Classic band. Fucking throw my notes over there. Real fucking cool. To be honest with you, I don't remember for the life of me how I got this fucking tape. So you got to admit, for being a dumbass here with the low brain cell count these days, I got a lot of fucking memory left, but I do remember most of this shit, man. So y'all can't give me too much shit, but I just can't fucking remember where I got the Astareth demo, but I fucking love it. I might have got it from fucking Tony, that little motherfucker, fucking bootlegging son of a bitch. But we appreciated his bootlegs for sure. So that being said, talking about the Doom scene, I'll get into a couple of my favorites real quick. Let's see, we got Abysmal and Pendulum. Let me grab those. I got a whole separate box with the doomy shit. Abysmal and Pendulum right here. Oh, see? That's why I don't like having fucking loose demos and stuff. I'm telling you. See? Disaster happens. Luckily, it all stayed in the box, though, but it ate shit. So you saw that live. Nothing to see here. So, abysmal. Killer band. Fredrikstad. Nebulistic Obscurity. This is 1991, 4 songs. You know, the funny thing is that apparently people call this like slow, doomy black metal or depressive black metal, DSBM or whatever the fuck that is. I'm not really familiar with that whole thing. People dig it, whatever, man. Some of it's fucking cool, but to me, they're definitely like a slow death doom band. They just have tortured, screamy vocals, you know? They got black metal vocals for sure, but, you know, to me, Abysmal's just slow death. You know, you listen to the riffs, it's death metal to me. The main guy in this band went on to do Carpathian Full Moon, and he had dudes from like Disgusting Balvaz, Pendulum, and Brain Dead. So fucking killer though. I really fucking love this demo. Fucking heavy duty. Heavy duty stuff. And the other band is Pendulum, also Fredrikstad, 1991 they were formed. This band also was associated with Abysmal, and literally this band changed their name to Carpathian Full Moon. But this is 6 songs. It's a rehearsal. They got the Hecate demo in 92 that had 4 songs and a Bathory cover. Both of those recordings are on here. So both demos are on this one. And we wrote to Lars, the bassist. So I do remember this group. So maybe we got the Abysmal from Lars as well. I'm not 100% sure, but Lars sent this in for Extinction of God. And another band that's basically kind of considered Black Doom or whatever. But, you know, again, it's slow death and with black metal vocals. But the riffs and the music are total death metal to me. So I wanted to start off the Norwegian doom stuff with those 3 bands, basically. Ashtoreth, Abysmal, and Pendulum. 3 of my favorites. Classic stuff. All right, so real quick, I'm going to run through the Doom stuff. Most of these got sent to Extinction of God for review, interviews, compilation tapes, whatever. They were just, you know, that's how bands did it. They'd send their demos in. Got Nightfall, Green Carnation. Good stuff. Let's see. Graveless. This is all Funeral Doom, Norwegian Doom, Doom Death, you know. Let's see, which one's this? Oh, yeah, we got both Beyond Dawns. Just dropped the goddamn box again. My apologies. Like I said, this is a fucking old school cable access show, man. We fucking do it raw on this motherfucker. Can't even see what's going on there. It's a fucking cemetery. This is Beyond Dawn in a Warner Brothers cover. I always thought that was pretty funny. It's like an old Black Sabbath or Dio fucking holder. Here's the Beyond Dawn. I love this fucking band. Beyond Dawn's fucking badass. Very Paradise Lost. Another one. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Forgot fucking Theater of Tragedy contacted us. They went on to some big stuff. I think this demo is fucking cool. I like this one a lot. Good stuff. And then Funeral. Funeral is badass. If you like Thurgathon and skepticism and shit like that, fucking good stuff. This one's a trip. This one's fucking heavy duty. This one's a little bit more, I guess, progressive, experimental, whatever you want to call it. Black Lodge, like one of the worst demo covers of all time. Black Lodge was cool though, man. I like that band too. And then Atrox. You know, I had one of the other Atrox demos. Weird little haunted looking cover or whatever. Mind Shadow. I had one of the other ones that I couldn't find it. I thought I saw it the other day too. It's probably sitting there with the Vomit demo fucking lost somewhere. That, and there's a band called Suffocation from Norway too, death metal band that the Norwegian Suffocation, obviously not the New York one, but I thought I had their demo too and couldn't find it the other day, so I was pretty disappointed. But yeah, here's the made a little logo. Fucking, logo file thing for everybody. I don't know why the Beyond Dawn showed up fucking retarded. Sorry. It's all fucking sideways. Shouldn't have showed up like that. God damn it. See, this is a cable access show. We don't fucking fact check here. We don't fucking make corrections. We just fucking run with it. But yeah, no, these some of these bands like that Asterisk, like I said, fucking brutal stuff. And Abysmal and Pendulum are fucking badass too. Some of the same people in those groups, but that's the Norwegian Doom, which Norway had like a little small handful of grind bands and quite a few pretty good doom bands. Some of these bands went on to big things, Third and the Mortal and fucking Tristetta or whatever the fuck that band's called. Some of that operatic fucking Scandinavian fucking opera metal stuff or whatever, obviously that's not my fucking cup of blood. So once bands started getting weird like that, I fucking tend to go the other way, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucking listen to that shit if I want to hear opera or whatever, which I never want to. Put on Phantom of the Opera or some shit. I like the Iron Maiden version better than the actual. So, the fucking soundtrack's cool, whatever. But yeah, I'm not fucking listening to opera, man. Pavarotti and all that fucking stuff. I don't know. Is that even opera? Or is that fucking, is that tenor? I fucking don't know. That's not my music. So that's why the channel is called Welcome to Hell. And we mainly talk about death metal. You know what I mean? Anyways. Okay, moving right along. We were now going to get back to some of the feature bands. I had to talk about a bunch of bands in a group just because there's so many that I couldn't talk about every single band and demo by themselves. It would just be a fucking 6-hour show, and I'm not doing that. And you ain't watching that. So, Abhorrent, Thy Abhorrent. I'm sure you know this band. Talked about the Death Rides at Dawn 7-inch in the past. Killer fucking band. Classic Norwegian death metal. They were from Sarpsborg in 1989. Started as Abhorrent and changed their name to Thy Abhorrent with the 7-inch. And I wrote to the singer Stein. Cool guy. I actually found out about this band on one of the Morbid Noise compilations from the Septicore fanzine. I've talked about that in the past. Theory, my buddy from Belgium, he did Septicore fanzine, and he also did the Morbid Noise tape compilations, and he had Abhorrent on there. So that's how I got a hold of Stein, and Stein was fucking cool. He also did a fanzine called Sepulchral Noise, and I definitely don't have a lot of my old fanzines, unfortunately. That ended up in a box that got thrown out or something that just kind of disappeared. Sad. But, I randomly run across some fanzines in other boxes that I've had in storage over the years. But, yeah, most of the bulk of them are all gone, unfortunately. But Occultus Brujeria, 1990. This classic. A lot of bands use this cover for their demos and their releases. That image. 4 songs and an intro. On this recording, Stein was nice enough to put a live recording from 1990 on the B-side. And this demo here, let's see. Trying to get the name right. Incognitus from Orchestras in 1991. 5 songs. So, as I mentioned, the 7-inch Death Rides at Dawn, very well known. It's on Seraphic Decay. Did an episode about Seraphic Decay and the 7 inches. So it's little known fact that Stein actually helped found the Helvet record store with Euronymous. I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but yeah, they were good buddies, close friends, and well connected. So they put their funds together and started the store. And but Abhorrent, Thy Abhorrent, Abhorrent / Thy Abhorrent, very dark and foreboding death metal with a thrashy tinge to it. So kind of has a Sepultura vibe from like Morbid Visions, that type of South American death metal that still has one foot in the door. And also on this recording, on the B-side, is a band called Perdition Hearse, their 1992 demo, Malified. And it's pretty black metal, very cool stuff. And it has also has a 91 demo and a rough rehearsal from 1990 or so. So I guess that was Stein's band. I don't remember, but listening to it the other day, and it's kind of like things are coming back to me, but not 100%, unfortunately. So, but that's about as far as I can remember. But yeah, Abhorrent, Thy Abhorrent, fucking killer. Obviously, like I mentioned in the Seraphic Decay episode, if Seraphic Decay is putting it out, it's good for the most part in that golden era of the fucking 7 inches. So, yeah, fucking killer stuff. But yeah, I got a little bit confusing. So here's the original logo, Abhorrent. That's when I first heard of them. And then they changed it just to add the thy. All right. No big deal. And then here's the boys. And there's Stein in the middle hanging out with his hoodie. And looks like he's wearing some fucking corpse paint or something. That dude on the left definitely likes to party. And then, you got the dude on the right there next to Stein with his flannel. Motherfucker on the far right's got the leather jacket. I don't know what's up with the sweater. Again, the Norwegians had some fucking sweater game in full effect back in the 90s. I don't know what was with the fucking sweaters over there. I know it's cold. Don't get me wrong. But, Fat boy on the fucking left, man. I mean, He's got the vest rocking. I wonder if he's wearing the goddamn Scorpions patch. He's gonna get ragged on. But nah, fucking these guys are. Don't underestimate these guys right here. This fucking, in this period, this photo, they're fucking ready to fucking rage. All right, it's a fucking killer band. So that is abhorrent slash thy abhorrent. Go check them out. Killer. All right, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up here in a few. Try to get through the last few bands. Going to do a lot of them as a group, like I did with the Grind and the Doom. But Morbid Collapse by Disgorge Norway is one demo that I fucking love. Classic fucking band. I'm gonna go bring up their logo. Like I said, if I forget some of these logos and band photos, my bad. But there's so much to cover, and this is a fucking little cable access TV show. Like I said, we don't worry about shit. Look at that fucking ridiculous logo. What the fuck is that? Every band has a fucking unreadable logo now these days. Fucking, does that say fucking Sanguis Boggy Boggy Jabalga La Bugga Bugga Bug or whatever? No, it says Disgorge. Can you read it? No. Who gives a fuck? Fucking rules, right? Disgorge fucking rules. Morbid Collapse, 1991, 5 songs and an intro. This motherfucker's heavy duty. Fucking killer. Old school style. Kind of has a American mix, like Florida and South American. So kind of like a mixture of death and a little bit of Massacre from Colombia. They did that split with Profanatica back in the day. They were on Osmos. Killer stuff. Real fucking simplistic, fucking barbaric, fucking, not atypical, coming from Norway in the 1990, 1991. Fucking sounds basically about what you would expect. Fucking Disgorge Norway. Fucking another one of the long lost bands. All right, next up we got Phobia, the Norwegian Phobia. A couple of these guys went on to Enslaved. Talked about that before. Did the black metal show, and I used to write to Grutel, whatever, however you pronounce that. Got the Enslaved demo from him, but I can't remember if I got this from him, the Phobia stuff. But I'll go over that. 1990 in Rogland, that's where Enslaved was from, obviously. 2 demos, The Last Settlement of Ragnarok, 5 songs. 1991. Get the glare off of there. Kind of faded, old, but killer stuff. Interesting. The Viking stuff, quote unquote. The guys were looking into that even as far back as that. So Feverish Convulsions is the 3-song 1991 demo. I really like this one. One of my favorites. I think I might have this in my top 5, maybe. Norwegian death metal demos, Norway Death. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Really good mix of like early Paradise Lost and Autopsy. This band. I'm not even fucking around. It's fucking high quality shit. I dig Enslaved, but I really liked the stuff they were doing with this band, especially this demo. Fucking underrated. Feverish Convulsions. Hey, sorry, my internet died as I was recording this certain part here with Phobia, so I don't know. I'll have to get to the editing process once I'm done with the show and to see if there's some sort of gap. But if there's some sort of wonky shit going on where there's like a retarded pause or whatever, that's because the internet fucking died out all of a sudden. My apologies. But it seems like we're back on track. It seems like StreamYard kept everything. So I don't know. Like I said, I won't know until I get to the end. But here is the Phobia logo. I was jamming in the OC grindcore band Phobia that's still around with Shane and everybody back in the day. But this is the Norwegian Phobia. This is a different Phobia. There's their logo, and here's the boys hanging out at the cross in Norway. Apparently the cross is a little smaller than Sweden with the entombed. Get it? But there's a fucking sweater again, man. These fucking Norwegians with the sweater. That guy on the right, I don't know who that is. He's got the Reeboks, the jeans. The guy in the middle looks like he's got the flannel. Maybe the guy on the left, too. Maybe even the guy up there up top. Is that Grudel? Is that my boy? Ivar's in there somewhere. But I don't know, man. The Norwegian sweater game is just fucking elite. They got some fucking brutal fucking sweaters over there, apparently. But these fucking Phobia demos are fucking killer. Especially this one. Heavy duty stuff. Go check it out. Heavy Death. All right. Here we are with one of the most unreadable logos of all time. Can't even tell which way's up, which way's down. This is obtained enslavement. I think that's it right there. Could be this way, though, too. Who knows? Yeah, probably this way. Black Death Grindcore. More Death Grindcore on this one. Yeah, formed in Stord, Vestland, Norway in 1989. I don't even remember what demo this is. They got two demos, self-titled, probably this one. Fancy fucking 80s Maxell tape. 1992, 6 songs. Out of the Crips demo in 93, 6 songs. Crips. Oh, my bad. Yeah, this is out of the Crips. So this is the out of the Crips demo. I wrote to Pest. He became a black metal guy later on, as a lot of these cats did. And Thomas, I knew him as Thomas. They sounded like, I know they went full on black metal, so they didn't change their name. They just went full on black metal. Back on this demo, they were really into Florida death metal, though. Mainly Deicide. A lot of Deicide on this. I really like this demo. A lot of blasting and grindy stuff. There are some experimental type things on here. Black metal. No. I think the first demo. So the both demos are on here on this, by the way. And out of the Crips, they started drifting a little bit into the black metal realm. But, it had some acoustic breaks and some kind of howling vocals or whatever, choir stuff. So it still had some death metal, though, It's heavy duty. But, they got really lame later on and went like full symphonic Dimmu Borgir, the black metal craze. I like that Centuries of Sorrow debut that Obtained Enslavement did. It's pretty cool. That circus metal stuff they did later, not my thing, man. But Obtained Enslavement. Let me see which way are we going here. Yeah, there we go. Fucking killer stuff. They are just like Disgorge Norway, unreadable logos. I wanted to put those two together. Unreadable. Well, Phobia is in the middle too, but you could read the Phobia logo. But let's see. Let me go grab I don't know if I have an image of these guys or not. Obtained enslavement from back in the day. Nope. Just the logo. You could read this one. Yeah, somewhat. Still read it. Kind of, sort of. If you're a death metal fan, you can read that. But you can't really read this no matter who you are. Or maybe you can. I guess if you could read that, you're a lot cooler than I am. So, obtained enslavement when they were kind of death grindy, kind of deicide, Good shit. All right, next up, we're going to talk about these set of musicians and this band that evolved into one of the biggest metal bands of all time, technically. Seems like every time they tour, everybody goes nuts. They want to go see them. But this is Xerxia. Good death thrash type stuff. I dig it. I got the dude down there with the hook in his mouth on the second row. He's got the same shirt I'm wearing right now. Classic Dark Throne shirt. So yeah, this band wrote to Thomas. He became kind of a little famous later, but yeah, he sent the demo in. So this was like right around 1990, and I think he sent it in to EOG. I can't remember. I don't think we were doing the fanzine back then, though. So I ended up writing to him probably through one of the guys, the OGs, Harold, Euronymous, or Fenn. I really fucking can't remember, but I ended up getting my hands on this fucking tape, and it's fucking cool. So it's got Samoth and Ishon, obviously fucking later went on to black metal superstardom with Emperor, and this was their very first band. So I guess this is pretty fucking rare too. Ended up getting a copy of that. They ended up doing Embryonic, which is this is fucking killer. This is fucking underrated. Very, very, very good. And this is basically they changed their name to Embryonic and did this. Here's the old Xerxia logo. There's the boys hanging out. Let me go find the Embryonic stuff real quick. Again, I apologize if I forgot to cover everybody, but trying. So there's the Embryonic logo. And then here's the boys in Embryonic. Yeah, I really like this Embryonic demo. Very Morbid Angel-y, Great stuff. And Thomas was cool, man. He was a good pen pal that I would keep in contact with. And here's another weird collector's item. The very first Emperor demo. He sent me that. Good stuff. I'm trying to get the cover right here with the glare off. There we go. Really fucking dig it. And then I got what is that? Oh, wait. There's the the Wild Rags version. I think I've shown this before on Carl's or Roy's show, but yeah, this is the Wrath of the Tyrant Wild Rags version, re-released. Classic stuff, classic black metal. And then Thou Shalt Suffer. Into the Woods of Belial. Classic stuff. Let's see. Trying to think if I got any. Yeah, but Thou Shalt Suffer, fucking badass. They did the 7-inch on Distorted Harmony and fucking all this stuff. I definitely appreciate. Used to write with Thomas and aka Semoth. These guys, you know, the Emperor Brain Trust. This is the bands that they had starting off with Circia, into Embryonic, into Thou Shalt Suffer, into Emperor, boom, Wrath of the Tyrant. Classic stuff. Fine example of, you know, Norwegian classic black metal that has their roots deep into the death metal scene. So these guys were all about the underground. You know, I think that's what people fail to remember, that, you know, say what you want about that black metal scene and the extravaganzas that happened with all the controversies and all that. They created something pretty fucking badass, man, back in the day. I mean, they were able to thwart the commercialization of the death metal scene in that sense and turn it on its head for a little bit. And then, you know, the monster fucking became worse than the original monster, right? But still, they were able to say, fuck you to the mall, shopping mall, corporate fucking structure of the fucking major labels infiltrating the death metal scene and the bands getting all fucking lame. And really, even if you don't like black metal, you have to fucking tip your cap and salute the fucking black metal motherfuckers and a lot of these people that I'm talking about for, you know, Euronymous, fucking all the way down the line, even to Grishnak and Fen and fucking Harold and Abath and everybody, the Emperor guys, you know, fucking saying, you know what, fuck it, we're going to do this. It wasn't trendy at first. It was anti-trend, you know. It didn't become trendy until later, and that's when it became lame, obviously. So, yeah, but I think for the most part, yeah, it wasn't organic like the death metal scenes of Florida and the Eastern Seaboard and even Chicago, Los Angeles, Sweden, Finland. But at the same time, it's still fucking created some fucking awesome stuff out of it. But that's the whole point of this show, is trying to remember the awesomeness of the death metal fucking aspect of it that's forgotten, you know? So these musicians moved on to black metal or whatnot for the most part. Like I said, probably 90-95% of these motherfuckers. But, you know, hey, it fucking is what it is, right? I know that a lot of you out there watching this show, whether you admit it or not, you like some of that fucking classic black metal stuff. So fucking tip your cap and fucking drink a beer for these Norwegian motherfuckers tonight. You know what I mean? All right. So a real quick aside, you know, kind of thinking about what my buddy Chivo had mentioned earlier, or what I had talked about earlier in the episode, I should say, about, you know, failed black metal musicians or failed death metal musicians. I'm sorry. The the internet going out really threw me off. So I'm sitting here fucking scrabbling, trying to figure this out. As of right now, I think we're going to be good. I'm hoping that, because the internet was out for about 10 minutes. I don't think StreamYard was recording. My fingers are crossed that there's not like a 10-minute gap, but yeah, I don't think so. But either way, I'm kind of thrown off. Fucking things got turned upside down here for a second, but shit happens. We're going to fucking work through it, right? This is fucking shitty, fucking cable access, like I said back in the day. Fucking Wally George style, channel 56 here in Anaheim, California. Fucking that's what it was. If you don't know what that is, look it up. KDOC. All kinds of crazy shit was going on in that channel back in the day. I think fucking TSOL played on that fucking channel at one point. So, anyways, talking about failed death metal musicians and whatnot. I think, to be honest with you, we have to fucking thank Norway. I know Norway got Norway gets a lot of hate, to be honest with you, especially for the commercialization of black metal in many ways. And sure, that's definitely true. But as far as what I'm talking about, the era, the underground, Wrath of the Tyrant Emperor, the early Mayhem stuff, moving on to even the first Mayhem album. And, aside from the sensationalism and the fucking Nazi bullshit and the weird anti this, anti that, or whatever, because back in the day, I wasn't, you could read in Extinction of God if we ever re-released those fanzines, which people have been asking about. I think as it gets more exposure, you have people of the new generation that want to read some of that old stuff. I was really critical of black metal because, shit, man, I was friends with Chris from Therion, and fucking they were trying to burn down his house and shit, and they were threatening Entombed, and it was fucking weird, man. And then there was all kinds of just weird hate shit. The church burnings and shit, it's like when you're a fucking teenage metalhead, that's what it's all about, right? Church burnings. As you get older, you realize, like, yeah, religion fucking sucks. For me personally, especially, but especially growing up, how I did with a couple of situations I was in, religion-wise, right? At the same time, you become, more accepting of different religions and whatnot, culturally, different people around the world use religion to their advantage, and, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So whatever, so church burnings to me, it's kind of the old ancient churches over there in Norway. It's kind of sad though. I understand. Don't get me wrong. Especially like I had a big interest in Satanism when I was younger. I still respect it. A lot of the views that exist with it. There's certain parts of certain religions, I guess, that I can respect and utilize in my life. But for the most part, I've always tried to keep myself separated from all that stuff and be a critical and free thinker, so to speak. So, but anyways, back to the music underground back then. Death metal got really lame. So I can understand where the black metal backlash came from. And like I said, it wasn't just the fact that Sweden was getting all the attention, which it was, it was the hotbed of the world there for a while. Norway kind of got forgotten, so they got disrespected, right? So that's when they decided, fuck this shit. We're going to fucking start our own thing then. And in many ways, I think Ruin has done that, because we don't really follow the norms or any fucking type of trend or scene or whatever. We don't seem to fit in with, yeah, we have friends and bands and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. We play some shows and get along with everybody locally for the most part. But At the same time, you don't see us getting the same opportunities that others do. So I can understand if Euronymous got frustrated, because there's a lot of trends and bullshit going on right now that are very similar to what was going on with the past with the death metal scene. You know, the Earache bands pretty much for the most part all got lame. The Finnish bands all started sounding like the Doors or pop punk or some shit. Bolt Thrower still fucking remained heavy, but got a little boring in my opinion, but still put out good stuff. Autopsy broke up, so that fucking sucked, right? A lot of bands that still existed after that got generic, and I mean, fucking name me a fucking album. I mean, I know some of the younger generations listen to a lot of the later albums by some of these bands, but it's just not the same vibe, man. I'm sorry to be that guy, the demos of the first album, type thing, or the EP or whatever, but it's just true, man. When the hunger's there and, the conviction and things get different, I guess, as you get older and get success and tour the world, I guess, and want to change, get progressive musically, yada, yada, whatever. But nah, I'm not going to fucking slag the black metal dudes back then, especially since like some of these albums, especially Darkthrone and Immortal, I fucking absolutely love. I pretty much love everything fucking Darkthrone's ever fucking put out, especially up till recently. Some of the newer stuff I got to give another chance, but I haven't really listened to it extensively like, some of the crustier Darkthrone stuff later on. They started getting a little bit more heavy metal. Circle the Wagons, fucking awesome. Love that album. I think that's the last, they did a couple after that were fucking very good or whatever, but nothing that I would listen to on a regular basis. But, anyways, I just wanted to do a quick aside on that. As the internet went down, I had some time to think and fucking make that known. People have to remember, like, there might have been some failed death metal musicians to a certain extent, but they created something that got even bigger and crazier, I guess, so you got to give them fucking credit for that. And there's some fucking great music that came out of that too, not just from Norway, just from fucking worldwide. So, but some of that Norwegian stuff's fucking heavy duty, man. Some of that early Norwegian black metal, I've just been talking about it. So, all right, let's get back to some of these last bands. All right, real quick too. Wanted to talk about Suffocation. I think I mentioned them earlier. Suffocation Norway. I can't find the fucking demo, man. I did mention I have that Atrox. It's basically the same members, and they were in the Doom section. So Suffocation was fucking cool, man. I remember enjoying that demo quite a bit, but I couldn't include them officially on this list, unfortunately, on this show, because I can't find the fucking demo. If I find it in the future, which I think I will, along with the Vomit, I'll just mention it on a future show or whatever. I'll just throw it in there. That's the way my fucking brain operates, man. It's going to fucking kill me for the rest of the night and probably moving forward for the rest couple months. Where the fuck are those demos, man? Okay, back to it. Let's get this wrapped up. Got a few more bands to talk about, a few more demos. Requiem fucking rules, man. I think you could fucking see that, but classic. These guys became Old Man's Child, which I don't really know much about them, unfortunately. Like I said, I'm not a big black metal guy, so I don't know. People like them. I see the shirts around here and there. I got this demo at Wild Rags, actually. It was in the demo bin. If you are familiar with this channel, if you watch the interview with my boy Rhett, my brother, Morjon, He talked about the demo bin at Wild Rags. We discussed that. And I mean, listen, man, Rhett found Premature Autopsy by Nihilist in there. Richard got that demo from Nikkei and probably listened to it a few times, fucking set it aside, and then just threw in the bin to fucking sell it at some point. And then Rhett ran across it. Blind luck, right? That's how it was, man, at Wild Rags. Like, Richard just didn't really keep everything. So that's literally how I ran into the Requiem demo. The guys from Requiem probably just sent it into Richard to get reviewed in the Wild Rag or to get signed to the label, or somebody in the store, maybe. I don't know if people were aware of that, sending demos in, but yeah, Richard would throw that in the bin. Let's see. Requiem was formed in 1989 in Jesheim. They later changed their name to Old Man's Child. 6 songs. Killer fucking heavy death. I love this fucking demo. Very Swedish. Kind of reminds me of like Internment, Toxemia, Crematory, Lobotomy, and the like, that fucking rule, fucking dark, heavy death, fucking Swedish style. Not Entomb, Dismember, more like the bands that I talked about. Heavy as fuck riffing. The vocals are fucking abyss-like, man. Nice and deep. Kind of reminds me of Miasma from Austria, Changes, that fucking classic fucking death metal record. Kind of similar to that, too. I love this fucking demo. Fucking top 5, probably. Like I said, I might do a little list at the end of the fucking episode, but it's up there, man. One of my all-time favorite fucking Norway death metal demos right here, Requiem. Go look it up. Like I said, I love this fucking demo so much that fucking I've never heard Old Man's Child, right? They fucking hurt my feelings when Requiem broke up. So I can't fucking listen to Old Man's Child, man. Call me an asshole, but that's just, it is what it is. All right, here is a long lost fucking classic. Infanticide, 1991. Sarpsborg, False Prophets, demo 1991. 5 songs and an intro. Fucking badass. 80s death metal, kind of more like a Possessed influence. Especially the vocals definitely sounds like Becerra. You can tell that they were listening to death too, Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy. Song structures definitely have that. And the riffing, fucking cool stuff, man. Fucking, oh yeah, real quick. Let me, sorry. Cable access style. Got to go back to Requiem real quick. I forgot about that. There's the Requiem logo. I'll show the Infanticide logo in a second here. And there's the, that looks like a fucking, yeah, that's not, that's embryonic. Oh, yeah, my bad. Requiem doesn't have a band photo, just a logo. Nothing to see here, sickos. Just fuck it up. Let me get the Infanticide stuff real quick. Apologies. You motherfuckers don't care. You're just watching this shit to pass the time. And there we go. Look at that horrible fucking low res. Fucking horrible. God damn it. Here. Let me show pictures of the boys. There we go. A horrible low res band photo, but still cool. I'm an old graphics guy, so I use those low res, high res terms. But yeah, there we go. There's Infanticide. Killer band, man. I'm sure you dig it if you're watching this channel. Fucking False Prophets. Had to fucking throw them on there. Long forgotten. Real quick, too. Forgot to mention that the Norwegian Suffocation became Aatrox, which I talked about during the Death Doom section of the show earlier with all the Death Doom bands. One thing about Suffocation 2 that bums me out about the fact I can't find their fucking goddamn demo right now is that they were on the Morbid Noise compilation, number 6, Septicore Zine tape series. If I didn't mention earlier, they were founded in Trondheim, 1988. And yeah, the tape that I had 2 demos on it. God damn it. They kind of had a Necrovore fucking early Morbid Angel vibe too. So yeah, Suffocation's fucking badass. Anyways, Requiem, Infanticide, fucking badass. I'm gonna cover a group of bands right now all together just because fucking running out of time. I don't want to fucking spend all night here fucking boring you to death with this stuff, but there's a good grip of demos as a group that fucking rule that I want to fucking cover. So let's see. Before I forget, too, I'm going to have a beer finally. I'm almost done with this godforsaken show. But I got my Melanie Loves Death Metal koozie. Melanie rules. And I had to order one of these things and she sent it off really quick. So she's been very supportive. Cheers, Melanie. Thank you. She's been very supportive of this stupid little show. She's like an internet superstar and well loved and well respected. So every time she mentions my shitty death metal raw cable access channel, I get all kinds of subscriptions. So I fucking appreciate you so much, Melanie. I had to support you with a koozie, having a little Kona brew. Let's see. Boom. Love the big wave. It's hot as fuck right here in Southern California today. Hit 100 degrees. We got a little short heat wave. It's a preview of the summer. We get hot. But yeah, you know, May, we get the May gray and the June gloom. So we don't really get hot in May. So obviously we're a bunch of fucking assholes, fucking whiny bitches when it gets hot this fucking soon. So I had to get the Kona brew today. So cheers, everybody. Cheers, Melanie. Fucking much love again. Thank you for everything. And now that we're approaching the end, I wanted to give a tribute to Melanie. So appreciate you. Thank you. So let's get back into it real quick. All right, we're going to get into some bands. I don't want to say incestuous because that fucking word fucking disgusts me. You know what I mean? Fuck all that shit. But people use that fucking term in reviews or whatever. And it's like, you know, I don't know. I'm just fucking old school, man. I've been institutionalized a couple, 2, 3 times, and we don't like that fucking term inside. You know what I mean? Fucking makes the bile in my fucking stomach, man. I'm gonna fucking kill fucking. Anyways, that's just me, all right? You don't like that? Don't fucking watch my fucking channel. All right. Anyways. Shared members. Decapitation. Desecrator. Boom. 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 This motherfucker rules this demo. This is the Desecrator. I happen to love this fucking demo. Yeah. But Decapitation's fucking badass too. So They switched their name around a little bit. Let's see. So, Desecrator was formed in 92. All right. So we got this for the EOG comp. This demo is from 1993. It's got 4 songs. They changed their name to Decapitation in 1993. And this demo, Bodily Corrupted, is in 1994. It's got 6 songs, and it fucking rules too. Oh yeah, this is a self-titled demo, by the way. Desecrator. Probably changed their name because there was a Desecrator band already, which is pretty good too. Let's see. Same members did Morbidity. I got both Morbidity demos. So yeah, we were in contact with these cats for Extinction of God fanzine. So we got the demos. And let's see. All these bands are from Horton Vestfold, by the way. Morbidity was formed in 93. Demo number 1, 5 songs and an intro. Boom. And Burial Ground, demo number 2 in 94, 7 songs. So yeah, these cats weren't fucking around. But great stuff, man. Great stuff. So it's a prime example of like really fucking great death metal getting buried in the black metal universe. You know what I mean? Really fucking cool. Later on, Tilloch from Morbidity, the Riffmeister on here, he joined Mayhem, so he's currently in Mayhem now. So the first Morbidity demo kind of reminds me of a jam room recording, you know. The funny thing about Morbidity too, you can see they got the parental advisory thing on there, you know, like it's fucking Warner Brothers or some shit, you know. They kind of put that on there. I always thought that was pretty funny. The PMRC, man. I guess that, you know, after Tipper Gore, fucking Al's weird wife put that shit into effect. That's what was happening, but I didn't know Norway really gave a fuck about that. I'm not really sure, you know. Fucking, I don't think the PMRC or the fucking censors were worried about Norwegian death metal from 1993, but hey, man, I might be fucking crazy, right? Who am I? The second demo was on a 4-track in a studio, so it's a little bit better sound quality than the fucking rehearsal room number 1, but I dig it, man. They kind of remind me of the early stuff of that band Mortal Decay. It's got a brutal death metal tinge to it, I guess, if you say it's Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, you know. But Morbidity is cool, man. They have that type of vibe. Early 91, 92, you know, East Coast death metal vibe, if that's your thing. But they also mix some Finnish stuff in there too. Like, kind of reminds me of Sentenced a little bit, like the early Sentenced stuff, where it's like death, you know. Death, Obituary, some Bolt Thrower. It's fucking solid, man. This stuff's fucking solid. So you probably would dig it. But yeah, dude. This fucking demo. Just go check it out. The Desecrator demo. Look at that fucking cover. Just go look it up. If you need a link, let me know. I always thought that fucking demo cover was so fucking creepy. Fucking weird. The logo fucking rules. I don't know why, you know, like I said, I don't know why they changed their name. This demo's fucking cool too, though. Go fucking check it out, you know. This stuff was coming out 92, 93 after the black metal explosion too, man. So these guys didn't give a fuck. All right, so we got 1991 in Oslo, Igneous and Sarcastic. I got both Igneous demos and Sarcastic, so fucking. We had a Sarcastic here in LA. I think I like this band better. From Norway, Day of the Dead. Nice little haunting fucking demo, and then fucking cool little full color job there, but pretty fucking cheesy. Dark Side, but fucking badass. Killer stuff. Then yeah, the Genius. They did full color fucking shit. Anti-man. Classic stuff. So Oslo. They also had a band called Demonic. I don't have any demonic stuff, unfortunately. So Genius and Sarcastic. These guys. 1991. 2 demos. The Dark Side, as I stated, very fucking, just like the cover, very fucking raw, fucking rehearsal fucking quality, crude as fuck. You know, these guys remind me of like a Norwegian Nunslaughter. If you fucking like Nunslaughter, you'll fucking dig these guys. Like, I've been a Nunslaughter fan for fucking decades now, man, and it's fucking raw, sloppy fucking devil metal, you know? And it's just fucking barbaric fucking shit. You gotta love it. A Genius fucking basically had that fucking same style. 3 songs on the Dark Side demo. And then the Anti-Amen, 3 songs and an intro. And this was actually recorded in the studio. Same Nunslaughter vibe, but also, you know, it's on a fucking 4-track, so it's got some Deicide in Asheron, you know, Florida. Vincent Crowley, my buddy, fucking kind of has that fucking Floridian fucking satanic death metal vibe too, you know. Killer stuff. Sarcastic, actually, 1990, demo number 1, Day of the Dead, 5 songs and an intro. Definitely South American influenced. Fucking let's see, here's the Igneous logo. There's the Sarcastic logo. So gives you an idea there. Let's see what else. I guess yeah, definitely fucking Sarcastic definitely fucking is primitive fucking 80s fucking Conjumalo Records fucking death metal, you know. Classic South American influence stuff. And then, oh, that's why the fucking demonic stuff. I never fucking I really don't remember how I got these tapes, but probably Wild Rags. But yeah, unfortunately, my apologies. I just fucking couldn't remember one way or the other. I was trying, you know. I was like, where did these fucking come from, you know? Started fucking looking them up and going, holy shit. I had more fucking Norway death metal demos than I fucking imagined. This show was actually supposed to be, you know, like 10 bands, 12 bands. So, hey, it is what it is, baby. I know. I'm sure y'all enjoying it, hopefully. So, but yeah, that fucking demonic band. They put out something on Necropolis Records that's, you know, whatever. I'm not really into all that stuff, black metal stuff. So, Infinite Decay. 1991. Let's go grab some logo at least. There we go. This demo's cool, man. They only did this one demo, 1991, 4 songs. They were in Senderfjord, Vestfold, actually all the way back to 1987, but they didn't do this demo until 91. Funnily enough, these guys went on to form Limbonic Art, which is never heard that band. Never heard them. Have no idea what they sound like. So I couldn't tell you. I hear they're black metal or whatever, but they definitely, Infinite Decay's cool, man. This demo's cool. It's got like a Beneath the Remain Sepultura vibe. The early Death albums, Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy. Solid stuff. Look it up. Definitely part of the Norwegian death metal history, for sure. All right, we're going to get us some connections here. Putrefaction. 1993 in Horten, Norway. Inside the Crypt. 1994. 6 untitled songs. This is a couple of the guys, Stian and Sven from Morbidity. We got this at the Extinction of God compound. This fucking killer. Putrefaction, Norway. Fucking look it up. Fucking totally killer stuff. Oops. Totally killer stuff. Real similar to Morbidity, but has more of a Swedish influence. Finnish, maybe. Kind of like Sentence, I guess. Yeah, more Finnish. Also has a vibe that kind of reminds me of Maimed from Illinois, where it's just like mid-pace, fucking slower prodding stuff, you know. The Illinois stuff. Contagion, Cyanide, Maimed, that style. Putrefaction has that. Little bit of an old Gorefest vibe with the fast parts too. I really like this fucking demo. Fucking interesting. Especially for 93. Like I said, man, don't fucking sleep on that. You know, some of that Norwegian death metal from the black metal era, quote unquote. Some of the best Norwegian death metal actually came out after the black metal era. So it's a fucking cool demo. Check it out. Inside the Crypt. Don't be a fucking poser, okay? Please. But I know you're not if you're fucking watching this channel, right? Oh, what do we have here, huh? Exhumed. One of my good buddies, Mr. Matt Harvey, is in Exhumed. Based out of San Jose, California, back in the day. Currently in San Luis Obispo, California. This is not the same Exhumed, though. And there's a fucking killer, which I love Exhumed. Matt, is my boy. Love the current Exhumed from Slow, California, too. There's a Swedish Exhumed and maybe a Finnish Exhumed, too. But this is the Norwegian Exhumed. And this fucking demo rules, by the way. No offense to Matt, which I love the Exhumed demo, but I think this might be my favorite Exhumed demo. You say Exhumed demo, I say Exhumed demo. Oh, what is that fucking Schwarzenegger movie? Fucking, I'm not the clone baby, you're the clone baby, right? Well, a bunch of fucking clones. I don't know. There's a lot of fucking killer Exhumed demos out there, right? The Norwegian one, the fucking Swedish one, the fucking San Jose one. Fucking, they're all fucking great. But this Norwegian Exhumed was founded in Festund, Viken, Norway in 1992. This is the self-titled demo in 1993. This was sent to the EOG compound via Terrorizer, Metal Maniacs, Metal Forces, who knows, Power Metal, I don't know. I don't remember. We fucking advertising all that shit. 5 songs on this fucking beast. This demo fucking rules. It's got a weird production and sound. Real fucking guttural vocals at times with some fucking weird screams and some good mid-range growls. Ahead of its time, too, with the down-tuned guitars. It fucking literally sounds like it was fucking recorded in Finland in, the golden era of 89, 90. Little Carcass, Bolt Thrower, maybe some Grave, Grave influences fucking thrown in there, which is great. And there's some weird high-pitched singing in parts on here that always fucking throw me for a loop, but it's not enough to really fuck things up or anything. It's a fucking killer fucking demo. I mean, I'm not even fucking joking. Some of these fucking riffs could be outtakes from Vulgar Neclarity from fucking Abhorrence, Finland. This is fucking great. Definitely one of my favorites. I'm going to have to put it here for the end of the show as one of my favorites. Norwegian demos of all time. Let's see. All right. Formed and festooned in 1991. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Let me fucking show you the... Again, this is a cable access fucking show. Make sure I cover everything here. Bam! There's the Exhumed logo. In case you're wondering, that's the Exhumed you want to hunt down for this fucking demo. And then here is the next band that I want to talk about here. Depraved. Formed and festooned in 1991. They only had one demo. Symbol of Lies. 1993. Again, a Extinction of God. I swear these guys over in Norway in 93 were talking to each other. 4 songs and an intro. Really cool guy, Ruin from Mr. Blasphemer from Mayhem and Art Noir. I was able to meet him. Gravehill played with Art Noir back in like 2013, 14, something like that. Played the Key Club, and what a fun fucking show. Art Noir fucking rules. And really talk to those guys. Those guys are fucking great. Apollyon and Ruin, Blasphemer. Fucking really cool guys. We gave Ruin a Gravehill shirt, and he wore it for a while. Might have even wore it when he was in Mayhem and shit. It was pretty cool, man. We were fucking proud of that. But anyways, good guys. We ended up going to the Rainbow with them and shit like that. And we played Sunset, the Key Club, used to be Gazari's. The Sunset Strip is legendary for the fucking Europeans. They want to come fucking check out where Lemmy was hanging out and all that good stuff. So we took him to the Rainbow and we had a good fucking time, man. Fucking drinks, and those Europeans can definitely drink. This is a really fucking good demo. I really fucking dig it. Probably top 10 in Norway lore as far as the Norwegian demos. Really fucking full on fucking old school Paradise Lost, old Amorphous, the My Dying Bride demo where it's real murky, fucking doomy, gloomy death metal, man. This is definitely a fucking classic. And like I said, some of these, the whole purpose of this show is to bring light to the forgotten, and I really wanted to fucking shine some fucking attention over to some of these fucking recordings that are fucking long forgotten. So, all right, we're gonna end the band coverage with Vang. Fucking totally killer fucking band. Pest and what's this other one? Horde Divide. Fucking totally fucking killer. I believe I got these from Wild Rags too. Might be bootlegs from Tony or what's his face? Rafael Rivera. They're 1991. Let me look that up real quick just to make sure. Let's see. I think they're a little bit more old school than some of the bands I was talking about here a little bit ago. Yeah. Early 90s, probably got this because I don't remember writing to any of these guys or getting this at Wild Rags. Fucking killer stuff, though. Very, again, a very fucking like swampy, kind of fucked up death metal. Dunslaughter, Acheron, kind of has some stuff, some heavy stuff to it. Fucking cool, though, man. Interesting. There's their weird logo. It's kind of stretched out or whatever. I don't know why it showed up like that online. Because it looks like that. That's better. Bang with the Reaper too. Much cooler. Second their fucking demo. Bam. There we go. Trying to get the glare off there. There we go. The fucking Reaper over that. Yeah, I don't know why the fucking logo shows up like that online. But, yeah, totally killer fucking band. Another prime example of killer Norway death. There you go. There's all the cult bands that maybe a lot of you haven't heard of. Desecrator, Decapitation, Depraved. Let's see. Disgusting, Exhumed. I'm trying to read these logos. Disgorge, Fanticide, Infinite Decay, Morbidity, Phobia, Putrefaction, Requiem, Sarcastic, Suffocation, and Vang. So that will wrap up this portion of the show. I was going to try to do a, favorite Norwegian death metal demo list here. So let me try to figure that out real quick. Well, there you have it. And those fucking logos. Go check out those bands. I'll leave it up. Screenshot that shit. Go check them out. These are all the cult Norwegian death metal bands. Not all of them, but a good handful of them that fucking rule. We talked about them on this fucking show, and you need to go check them out. So let's get into the top 10 of my favorites. Let's see here. We're going to go over them. All right. Like I said, number 1, Hider. Still my favorite. Fucking rules. When Johan was in Norway, 1990. What a fucking classic. What a fucking classic, huh? Number 2, Cadaver. Fucking abnormal deformity. I almost said hallucinating anxiety, but that's the album. So get the glare off. Boop. Cadaver fucking rules. Let's see. Got to make some hard decisions here, you know? This is the top 10. Yeah, fuck it, man. Exhumed. I love this fucking demo. So fucking weird and heavy. Go check it out. Especially you fucking new school weirdo fucking kids out there. Fucking worship this shit. If this shit came out right now as a new band, be fucking freaking out. Profound Lord put this shit out, or fucking $20 spin. Fucking have 18 vinyl variants. They'd have fucking all kinds of semen fucking vinyl variants and shit like that. Fresh from the band. Let's see. What's next? Let's go old school. I'm going to go fucking old school. Yeah, fuck it. Mortem, Slow Death. Legendary fucking recording. Don't need to fucking say much about that. Fucking Mortem fucking rules. Go Phobia next. Feverish Convulsions. Fucking rules. Cremator. Acid Face. Requiem. Fucking prefer this over Old Man's Child. Sorry. Black metal fanboys. Molested fucking rules. Stalk the Dead. Eternal. Two-way tie at the end. Depraved. And Desecrator. Fuck it. 9 and 10. Boom. Can't go wrong. That's my top 10. You want a list? Hit me up. I'll make one for you. No biggie. Got to drink some Gatorade now. I appreciate everybody. Again, hopefully that fucking internet going out thing fucking towards the middle end or whatever fucking doesn't fuck things up. I apologize, man. I mean, not much I can do about that. I don't think there should be too much of a delay on that. I'm going to try to check it before I upload everything. Anyways, like I said, this is a fucking cheesy ass cable access show, man. I'm not all fancy or whatever. So fucking, I don't think, as long as it's not too much of a fuck up and delay, I don't think people are going to fucking care too much. But I want to give thanks to all of you for watching. If you made it this far, especially appreciate the support. Make sure you like, subscribe, spread the word, comment if you choose. I know that I'm horrible at fucking responding to comments right now, but at some point I'm going to go through and try to respond to everybody. I've just been so fucking busy. There's just no way I can respond. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much. Welcome. Spread this around for me and let people know. We got some good stuff on the horizon. I got a couple of the interviews have been fucked. People have been flaking, or just, scheduling's been conflicted, and there really is no effort to reschedule or whatever with a lot of people, man. So whatever, life gets weird like that. I'm not taking it personal, but I got some other interviews fucking rolling through or whatever with a couple of buddies that I'm going to hook up. So should be fun, hopefully. But regardless, I got like a grind power violence fucking show that's going to be happening, talking about some bootleg demos, official demos, and some 7 inches that I'm going to do. It's going to be another big one, probably another 2-3 hours. Talk about a little bit of gasp related history. of that era, with a lot of the fucking shit like Crossed Out, Plutocracy, fucking, Anarchist, and fucking my experiences coming up and growing up and watching that shit evolved. Early Man is the Bastard, early dystopia practices and shit like that, Gasp and the original dystopia lineup, which was a little bit different. We shared Sureguard Studios. I know some of you know about that or whatever, but maybe some of you don't know about that. But yeah, I've seen some historical stuff on dystopia and Man is the Bastard online, and it's been kind of either retarded or inaccurate, So I was there, man. So I want to talk about some of this stuff, I got really lucky. I went from the death metal underground into the fucking Power Violence underground, fucking weird other scene with early Gasp and all that stuff, and even the later Slopaham stuff and all that. I know some of you metalheads still like that stuff. Some of you might not, but you might appreciate some of this history because it's all connected, It's extreme underground fucking shit, man. As far as I'm concerned, it's all the same stuff. But either way, I appreciate you if you're fucking still here listening, watching. Regardless, if you're like me, sometimes I just put YouTube on and let it roll while I'm driving. I don't watch, I just listen, so maybe y'all do the same fucking shit. At some point I'll put this shit on some podcast networks, but either way, I appreciate you, and stay tuned. I got another episode planned too about California underground demos and whatnot with the Bay Area and Los Angeles. My buddy Carl over at Witching Hour over there in Texas recently did the LA appreciation fucking episode where he's like, I'm from Texas, but we love LA, even though we fucking rag on LA a lot. We still love LA bands and shit like that. So I thought it was pretty funny. I helped him out with that a little bit. He asked me like, hey man, send me like 4 or 5 videos of shit that I might not have heard. I sent him like 25, 30 of those motherfuckers too, because he played fucking Crimson Death and a couple Tutri that I sent him, man. So I love fucking Carl, man. That's my guy. Fucking a big lug from fucking San Antone. He's the Jimmy Page to Beer Reeves' Robert Plant, rest in peace, fucking beer. But nah, man, I love those motherfuckers. And Carl especially, man, that's my fucking guy. So that episode was cool. I was fucking watching up on that early this morning, watching some of the shit. But anyways, fucking we're going to do some related to that. We're going to do some stuff. But yeah, like I said, go check out Johnny Hell Preacher with the channel. Let me go get that fucking logo. So you motherfuckers, this is a long ass beastly episode. I want to make sure motherfuckers don't forget the merciless onslaught. Where we at? There we go. Merciless motherfucking onslaught. Johnny Hell Preacher. He's been on Jamming Out All Badass. He's been on with Carl and the Witching Hour. So he's making it. But I was really disappointed when I saw the amount of followers he has on YouTube, man. So get out there and fucking support Johnny, man. He's a fucking diehard, knows his shit. I already told you about the fucking playlist. I'll fucking put that shit up too. That goddamn Norwegian death metal playlist is sick as fuck, man. He's got everybody I talked about pretty much today. Boom. Look at that. He's got some new shit like Obliteration and, some of the new, what's that fucking band? They're badass. Necromantheon or whatever the fuck. They're fucking badass too, man. Norway's got a nice little Necrovore death metal scene going on right there, right now. But, bam, there's the other part of that playlist. Some good shit. Obtained enslavement, morbidity, a lot of the shit I've been talking about, man. So go check it out. Like I said, where are we at here? I'm going to end this say goodbye. But yeah, I appreciate everybody, like I said, and make sure you like, subscribe, fucking comment. Like again, I apologize for not fucking responding to everything right now, but I'll try to get to it when I can. But this one took a while, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you got any suggestions or whatever, any comments, let me know, man. I'm going to be going through there shortly, trying to answer everything when I can. I promise you that. So until then, y'all take care. Much love. Appreciate you. You have a good one. And a better one tomorrow, okay? Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, even you single mothers working the clubs. We love you. We love you. Shit. Happy Mother's Day, moms. All right? Take care. Bye bye.